All right. So we're looking at a day in the life of a business analyst. And if you have any questions, feel really free to pop them in the chat box as we go along. I will try my best to attend to the questions as you ask them. All right. So yeah, let's see how we can make that happen. Yeah, so a day in the life of a business analyst is really the first thing is, what is the objective of this session? And what I'm hoping that we can do in this session is help all of you and myself, because every time I have a session, I learn, it's help all of us just really understand what are the skills, the tools, how should we use these things, what are the important stages, the important things that we need to look out for to ensure that we're running as really great business analysts within our organizations. We're gonna, like I said, we're gonna use a scenario-based approach. So we're looking at a case study and taking that case study into the work that we're going to be doing, looking at the work that we currently do and saying, with this case study, this is how I can begin to approach this work. Again, this is a small meeting, so feel very free to raise your hand at any time that you have a question, and I will be more than happy to move that mic to you, and we would just so that it's a really it's relevant. Okay, that's what we're going to be looking at, the relevance of it. Okay, so who is a business analyst? This is our agenda, but let's just skip that. Let us look at who a business analyst is, and then we'll come back to what is business analysis. So a business analyst, to be honest, a business analyst is a helper. That's how we see ourselves, as helpers. We come into that organization and we say, we want to help you get better. And that's how you always need to see yourself as a business analyst. So you might already be doing something that is improving the process where you currently are. You might be doing something that is making customers or stakeholders feel heard. You might be doing something that is saving the organization money. Guess what? You're already functioning with the mindset of a business analyst, because that is what a business analyst does. All right, so let's skip back to the slide. What does the IIBA say about business analysis? And this is what it says, right? We are managing change. So before you can manage change, you need to know what needs to be changed, which is where the process evaluation comes in for business analysts. You also need to understand who needs that change, right? That's the initiator. And typically these are your sponsors, okay? They're the ones that would say, this is what I need to happen in this place. I'm not happy about this. This is a business need that I see that we have. How can we work on it? That is then your sponsor. So that is something that is important for you to understand. Another thing you need to understand about the entire framework of business analysis is the users. Okay, these are also stakeholders. Now your sponsor is also a stakeholder, but guess what? The end users are very important in this process. So you might be in a job, for example, as a business process improvement official, or a business analyst that is dealing with maybe even the user journey. What you need to focus on really is, why does this organization need this change? What is this change going to do for this people, for this organization, and how can I make this happen? That is very important for you. And yes, there are tools that you're going to be using. So with us in the business analysis space, we enable change. Okay, that's what we do within the context of an organization. I made a mistake once where there was an organization where I was working with, and the way that they work was very different from another organization that I had worked with. But unfortunately, I didn't take the time to understand the business domain. So I always say to people, what is the business domain? Where are you currently working? It is very important. The way things happen in the financial institution and the way they happen in a legal institution or in a cybersecurity institution, or even in the finance sector, but maybe you're dealing with the customer service, and in another, still the same finance sector, you might be looking and working within the cybersecurity space. They're different. Okay, the purpose of the work that you're going to be doing is very different. And so you need to always understand the domain, right? Which is why you always need to have background research. We work very hard as business analysts. It's fun, but it's a lot of hard work, and it's something that you cannot get tired about. All right, so for us in the business analysis space, that second part of this definition is really critical for you. You're enabling change because you understand the organizational context. You would define the needs. That's part of your job, which is where the stakeholder management comes in. The stakeholder workshop, beg your pardon. And then you recommend solutions. And it's not just talking about the solutions. You're actually going to draw up these solutions, right? And both as high-level documents, as low-level documents, and based on the technical requirements that these documents, the model that they need to be, such that the development team can carry on and work with it. All right. So the space of business analysis and why it exists and why it will always exist, which is why in the UK right now, it is a shortage profession. Why? Things are changing. Things are always changing. Initially, there was COVID, and the rise in business analysis went through the roof because businesses needed to redefine their processes. They needed to redefine their stakeholders. They needed to redefine, how are we going to be meeting this need? Right now, guess what is happening again? There's a change again, right? There's let us begin to introduce a hybrid work environment, and that is changing a lot of mindsets. Again, there's a lot of stakeholder management that is going on because people are like, I don't want to, I want to stay at home. And then some other people are like, you have to come to work. Okay, so can we do 2 days? Can we do 1 day? What really is the purpose of the 1 day? What are they coming to work to do? Those are questions that organizations are asking. Those are, answering, because the employees are asking them that sort of question. So that is why the need for business analysis is always going to be there. As long as a business wants to make money, as long as a business needs to improve their processes, as long as businesses say, you know what, we want to connect more with our clientele, there would always be the need for a business analyst, which is why I love this profession. And the thing is, it is not only in a software institution, right? So it's not only about software. And that's the thing with business analysis. The regular day-to-day working, you're in a coffee shop and you want to see, how can I make my coffee shop work better for my users? That's business analysis right there, right? So a lot of us, we're working in the business analysis space without even understanding that is what we're doing. So what you need to know is what are the terminologies, and then the tools are extremely critical in business analysis, right? So we work across all levels in the organization. I've already said that to you guys, from defining strategy, creating the enterprise architecture. Enterprise architecture is like your to-be process maps. That's using your Visio, or I use Visio, BPMN 2.0. But there are many, many, many tools out there. But most of the organizations I've worked for have used Visio. There's a new one now that I'm learning because there's something that I'm about to start doing. It's called Adonis. It's very much like Visio, but that's the only thing really that you need to get as a business analyst. You need to understand the tools that organization uses, the framework within the organization works, the governance procedure, because that would help you. And once you understand that, it's very quickly you can move very quickly. The way that you can find that out is when you look at the job description that they've put out there. Sometimes they would write the sort of tools that they use in an organization. Before you go for that interview session, I would say Google it. There's tons of information out there. So look at that information that already exists and say to yourself, what do I need to make happen, right? And then begin to make it happen. All right. So creating enterprise and architecture, like I just said, taking a leadership role, that's BA leads. And usually a BA would function within the change management department in an organization. So business change, when you're looking, and this is where I see business analysts struggle as well when they're looking for work. A lot of the times we're focused on things like business analysis. Sometimes it doesn't look that way, right? It's very different. So you always have to scroll into the job. Did I just say scroll? I did. You have to look deeply into the job description and say, what are the requirements? What are they asking me to do? When you can answer that, what are they asking me to do question, you would find that for a lot of jobs out there, they actually are defining what a business analyst is doing, right? And then you can go in there and have that conversation. There's somebody I know who, and this is the project management, but she applied for a PMO role, but when she Googled PMO, a risk analyst came out and she's like, risk. But when she looked into the job description that was put out by the recruiter, they were looking for a PMO. And so she applied, and of course she got the job, right? So don't be scared about the title. Look deeply into the roles, the exact thing that this person or these people are asking you to do, and you would find that the tools that we're going to discuss today, the frameworks that we're going to discuss today, are evident within that. Then, of course, we're constantly supporting continuous improvements with projects and technologies. So what are the two major, there are many methodologies, to be honest with you, but these two are major, right? Agile and waterfall. Waterfall was what was existing for centuries. You take things sequentially. You wake up, get up from bed, stretch, brush your teeth, you just take things sequentially. That was waterfall. But then agile came as a response really to, and you can read up on the history later. I'm not going to talk about the history today, but agile was a response to the failings of waterfall, right? Saying, look, you know what? I don't have to be that sequential. What if I don't want to brush my teeth in the morning? What if I just want a coffee, right? So why do I have to follow a sequence? That was the question that agile came to answer. And that's why people jumped very quickly onto agile. But the thing with waterfall wasn't just the sequence, right? It was the amount of time it takes to get a project delivered in waterfall. Okay, sometimes it takes years because they're going from one stage to another, Imagine improvements. Think about the last 10 years and think about software improvements. Think about telephone improvements. Think within, especially the software industry, because that is where a lot of these sort of iterations happen. And imagine how quickly things change right now. So quickly, even with cars right now, things change so quickly within the last 10, 15 years. Why? Because of agile. Initially, that long process, which is fraught with risk, right? Because the longer it takes to do something, the risk has a multiplier effect. That was what was happening with waterfall. And then agilists came and said, you know what? It's not going to work. Let's find another way. And that's what happened with agile. But in a lot of organizations, you really do have a blend of both. So you find maybe for the initiation stage of the project, that's that starting phase where you need to document, meet with your stakeholders. You find that it's happening with the waterfall approach. But immediately after that, things sort of split up and then go into the agile methodology. And one of the reasons why people like the agile methodology, I'm giving you a lot of this background history because sometimes as business analysts, you need to understand this, right? The frameworks, the mindsets that drive the reasoning behind the things that you do is important for you to know them, which is why I'm sort of taking time to give you all of this background before we jump in. This is one of the reasons why agile is so successful and why people would always say, I need an agile business analyst. And it's great to sort of have that word agile in your CV, your job profile, because that is what people are really looking for. And as you can see, if it was me, I would look for agile. I would also go agile because it is where people want to be. It is saving people money. Look at that, be it large scale, medium scale, or small scale. It is saving people money. It is cutting time, right? And it is increasing the success rates. So why wouldn't I do it? Right? There's no reason. It's a no-brainer. So that's why a lot of people go agile. Now, I put this here so that we can understand, right? I need you to begin to, as we go in the session, because you would begin to draw parallels between what you currently do and what happens in the business analysis space. So that's why I put this here. What are the different functions, right, that you would see within the business analysis profession? You can see there's business process management, there's business process improvement, there's business process categorization, there's business process analyst, that's just in business process. Okay, there's business process architecture. That's drawing it up, right? That one you'll be like an architect, that's not something drawing something. But these are things that happen within the business analysis profession. You also have product management, right? You could be managing a portfolio. So a very small part of a large project, that is a portfolio manager, right? And what you're looking at there is all of the processes that are involved in that portfolio, all of the needs definition. You are the one that is in there. right? And that's under the product management team, right? There is also a digital business analyst, right? And that for you, digital business analyst is looking at, you're working within the software development life cycle. So you are constantly creating processes, checking the entire agile framework. Is it working? Looking, so those are the things that you do within that space. And of course, there's the product manager, which is managing many different projects. And then of course, even as a project manager. So as a business analyst, you can't function as a project manager. Why? You handle budgets as a business analyst. You handle resources as a business analyst. You handle change requests as a business analyst. There are many things that you do as a business analyst that when you superimpose who a project manager is, it aligns. So you can't apply for project management roles. Yes, you can, because you have supervised projects. Are there some things that you need to learn about project management? Oh, absolutely. So things like your rates log, things like your change requests, things like, of course, conflict resolution is on both sides of the table, right? So just what I'm saying is there's a lot of opening, there's a lot of doors that you can go through as a business analyst. And then, of course, agile. You can be an agile business analyst, and that is just a fantastic space to be, right? It gives you, it shows that you are an authority in the agile space. And there are, I would always say certifications are great, but if you don't know what you're doing and you go and get a certification and they give you a job, they're going to boot you out, right? Because you don't know what you're doing, but you have the certificate. So having the experience and knowing what to do is very important in this profession, right? So again, as an agilist, you can again be a product owner, you can be a release train engineer. What is that? That's looking at the sprints, right? And the agile framework. And I'll talk a little bit about agile as we go towards agile scrum as we go. It's further down towards the end of this session today, but we'll take a look at that. Remember, it's a quick session, so much as I would like to really spend time, I won't. It's just giving you an overview of what happens so that when you go into that interview, it clicks. You can speak with a lot of confidence because you see what you are doing already or what you have done in the past with the light of business analysis. You actually look at it and say, oh, these were business analysis. When I was, as a customer service representative, when I was sitting down and talking to a customer and helping them make a decision about the right product, that was business analysis. That was stakeholder management right there, right? That was solutionist thinking. And in doing that, you can then begin to, when you go into interviews, it's easy to speak with confidence because you've done the work. All right. And now you know the tools that you need to do the work. All right. Again, these are all the things that you can do as a business analyst. Of course, you have the more technical business analyst, which is the side that is more bluish. And then you have the business business analyst, more business focused. All right. So these are, you can see the technical part, right? Data science, a data analyst, a data modeler, business intelligence. So that is you understanding the principles of Six Sigma will be very important in that data area. Yes. Are we following so far? Am I talking to myself? Just let me know if you're following. Yes, in fact, if you can drop it in the chat box, that'd be great. Just let me know. Yes, I'm following. Yes, I understand. Yeah, that'd be great. And if I'm too fast, let me know. I'm very passionate about this, so I know that I tend to speak a little fast when I'm in that space. All right, great. Thanks everyone. So again, when you look at business analysis, it has sort of broken it down for you into strategy. Sorry guys. Into strategy. Sorry, guys, I need to just quickly take this call. Very quickly take. Sorry about that, guys. It was a very important call and I just had to take it. Yeah, so these are the things that you want to look at. You want to look at a business analyst. Are you a more strategic person? That's in terms of your thinking, in terms of the way you work. then you can be there. Are you more operational, right? In the more operational, and these are, if you go on the IIBA, IIBA is the International Institute of Business Analysts. If you go on their website, you'll get all of these tools in there. It really begins to help you understand a little deeper the business analysis profession. So again, in terms of operational, you can see the areas that you can function: procurement and logistics manager, a business analysis team leader, business process architect, operations analyst. All of that are operational in nature. And then you are thinking tactical. Tactical is different from strategy, because tactical is more of the day-to-day. Strategy is a big picture type of person. Tactics is the day-to-day, the actions I need to take to make this happen. So that is tactical. And that you can see healthcare analysts, business analysis lead manager, line manager, financial analyst, and auditor. These are all working. Yeah, that's what you look at. And then when you look below the line, you begin to look at data analytics. And that is what the sort of things that you will do and the sort of roles that you can find within the data analytics profession. Cybersecurity, agile, product ownership, all of these sort of give you an idea of how big the business analysis profession, which is why don't be worried that I mean, I'm saying this because I quite a number of, I mean, I have a range of people here. Some of reasons why some of you are here is out of worry that you might not get a job as a business analyst. There's plenty of work. You just need to understand the mindset, frame your CV appropriately, be ready internally, and then go for it and know what to do. All right. So a day in the life of a business analyst, you're brainstorming requirements to find a solution, right? Based on the needs of an organization, of a people, of a country, you know, whatever it is. You are working in cooperation with project managers, right? So that is part of what you do. And not just the project manager, but the project management team, the product management team, the wider cross-functional team. That is you. That is, as a business analyst, you're documenting processes. Why? Because you need to refine the system. You need to refine the problem so that the project that you're trying to solve is solvable. That is you as a business analyst. So you're constantly thinking and constantly saying, what can I do better? How can I do it better? That is you as a business analyst, right? And when I say you, I'm not talking about you, I'm talking about the organization in general. You're trying to gain understanding into the organization business processes that are relevant to your project goals, right? There are times where I've been in a meeting and somebody's talking, it's a workshop, and somebody's talking about something that has no relevance at all to the goal. But for them, that seems like it is so important. You cannot shut people down. You let them speak and you're like, great, you know what, let us categorize. And that's where conflict comes in. I will talk about that a little bit. You categorize all of the things that because they're all requirements. You write them down, you categorize them and put them in there. And we will go into categorization tools in a bit. But that is something that you need to, that's what you're going to be doing as a business analyst. Again, this is important to just give you context, because I believe very strongly in context. When people understand why things are happening the way that they're happening, it's easier for them to plug in. Okay, so context for me is a big deal. If I don't understand context, it's very difficult for me to help you. So a lot of my clients, I would always give them a long form to fill before we even start working together. I'm like, I need to understand you, so I know if we're a fit, because I can't help everybody, right? And everybody doesn't need my help. You know, there are different things for different people. So please, as a business analyst, always say to yourself, context. What is the context and how can I gain this context? All right. And part of your requirements gathering session is not every time you're talking to a stakeholder. Sometimes you need to review documentation that is already written. You need to, and that is part of the job. Now, these are your knowledge areas: elicitation and collaboration, refinements of the life cycle of life cycle management, strategy analysis, requirements analysis and design definition. That is important. Solution evaluation. Is this going to work? Right? That is where you sort of go into your acceptance criteria, and we'll talk about that in a bit. And then business analysis, planning, and monitoring. These are the areas as a business analyst you need to know. Now, the way you know these things could be different based on what it is that you're doing. For example, when you look at agile, information technology, business architecture. In business architecture, you really need to understand strategy analysis, requirement analysis, design, and definition. That is critical for business architecture. But all of these things, you need to know them in different degrees. So in some areas, you can be general awareness. In other areas, you need to be a strategist. Also, your proficiency scale would differ based on your focus as a business analyst and where you want to work. Does that make sense? Yeah. Okay, I believe it makes sense. I'm sure you guys will drop that in the chat box soon. Okay, great. I can see your chats coming in. Great, fantastic. Yeah, thanks, Oluwaseun. Great. And then the underlying competencies. This is another area that you need to see, right? What are the competencies you need to have? Your competencies are different from your skill set. Your competencies is how are you getting this done? Right? Those are competencies. So behavioral characteristics. Are you somebody who gives up easily? Are you somebody who gets irritated when they're not giving you a chance to speak? That is something that you need. Of course, that ties with your communication skills, but it is your behavioral characteristics. Business knowledge. You need to understand the business that you want to go into, right? Interaction skills. How are you connecting with your stakeholders? How are you facilitating the workshops? Because as a business analyst, you facilitate workshop, you'll be tired. You'll be tired. I was having a conversation with some ladies recently. There's something that I wanted to do, that I want to do. Actually, they were saying to me how they facilitate workshops and they're tired. That constantly you need to have people to get people together to explain what you're doing, why you're doing it. And then they're like, can't you just think of this by yourself? Do you really need me? But that is your job as a business analyst. So get ready, right? Get ready. And the thing is, and I've had this question before, right? But I'm an introvert. I don't really like speaking. It is not about whether you're an introvert or you're an extrovert. Nobody is saying go out there and have a party with them. We're saying as a business analyst, you need to be able to communicate your ideas and your solutions. You need to be able to get people to talk to you about their needs. You need to be able to get into the mindsets of people and say, what really is the problem that you're asking? Here, because sometimes people are like, oh, our customers are complaining and we're not happy about that. What are they asking for? It's not that the customers are complaining. There's a process to manage customer complaints that doesn't exist, right? So you are looking at it and saying, in which area is there a breakdown? That's why sometimes you have to analyze the entire process chain to arrive at one tiny thing. But that is process improvement. That is your job as a business analyst. And when you arrive at that, what you then do is break it down into the requirement structure, prioritize the solution, then it can begin to, we can move it to the development stage, right? But that is your job as a business analyst, all right? And then, of course, the different techniques that you need to have, which are the tools and technology for the business analysis, okay? All right. So definitive business analysis process, you need to plan and monitor. You need to understand context. I cannot say this context enough. You guys would probably be sleeping and thinking context when you guys leave this session. Objectives and the scope, right? Eliciting requirements is a big deal for you. And you need to understand that stakeholders are all over the place. Right? If you follow me on LinkedIn, you would see when I talked about, I went to the health visitor, and as I was in her office, we're talking, and she kept saying, this new system, I don't like it at all. It doesn't work for me. I'm like, I'm going to try it. Oh, no, I'm not going to use it. Let me just quickly go back. I just sat down, and in my head, I'm like, oh my God, where are the business analysts? That's what was going through my head. Where are these business analysts? Did they not talk to these stakeholders? Was there no, after implementation and deployment, were there no user manuals? Did we not have user engagement sessions to help them understand how to use this new system, right? So, and that's how you begin to think as a business analyst. You go into the coffee shop and you see the barista struggling with the coffee maker, or struggling with the coffee maker and all of those things, and you're there and you're like, my LinkedIn handle is exactly my name, Okeinfo Ajayi. That's I think all over social media, that's my name actually. Okeinfo Ajayi is my name. WhatsApp, Facebook, Instagram, anywhere you type Okeinfo Ajayi, you would see my face. And that was it, right? And so when you go into those places and people are complaining, sometimes you can even get work for yourself and tell them, I see that there's a process here that needs definition. I noticed this. Can I work with you for the next 2 weeks and just try and sort of help you sort that out? Is that okay? And you're bringing a solution to them. They'll be like, hey, you can? Ah, oh yeah. Of course, it doesn't happen all the time, but it's possible that it can happen. Yeah. And then you get the requirements approved. Once you have elicited the requirements, if it is not approved, you cannot work on it. Okay, and that's another place where you need to have many workshops. When you're working on an integration project, for example, what is integration? Let me think. I mean, there are many integration projects. I'm just trying to think of one that everybody can very quickly relate to. Okay, so during COVID, for example, and I would use COVID because a lot of technological improvements just sort of shot up during COVID. What happened was a lot of organizations had to integrate digital processes with their brick and mortar. They had to integrate payment solutions because people couldn't walk in and just pay anymore. That is an integration project. They had to integrate customer services frameworks into the broader perspective, maybe make it bigger. That is integration. They had to maybe merge with another organization because some of the things that they were doing, they couldn't do it by themselves. People started to use things like Zoom, and it was embedded within the company framework. That is an integration project. So when you look at integration projects like that, you're working with different stakeholder levels. And on those different stakeholder levels, you have to have all these many meetings, right? And you're not just presenting your requirement. Of course, you can have a huge group and present to the huge group, but sometimes you still need to have focus groups, right? If not, they'll tell you they didn't understand and that it was such a large crowd and I couldn't speak. So you are going to have to, right? So that is important. Getting that requirement approved is important. Once you get that tick, then you can basically fly. And then, of course, developing the detailed requirements. So the requirements you're going to get approved are your high-level requirements. They're really high level. So, for example, in this integration project I just talked about, you would have things like billing, you would have things like query management, you would have things like registration. All of those are very high level, but then you don't just go there and say, I want to register. If you go on the NHS website, it would ask you different questions. So breaking that down into the little parts of the whole is what is that number 5, developing the detailed requirement specification. And then, of course, supporting the implementation SMEs, which is where you go into your Amigo sessions, and we'll talk about that in a bit. Yes, and then evaluate, improve the solution and the performance. Now, this is a process map. What I've tried to do in this session is really use a lot of process mapping and the tools that you're going to be using. And we'll get into those tools. Maybe we'll take a break and come back, but we'll get into those tools. I'm rushing this because we don't have that much time. And it's really like an informative session to just really help you understand what you should be doing as a business analyst. So I've sort of used tools instead of just putting some other pictures, and all of this I got on Google. So you can actually go on Google and learn. That's how I did it, that I'm here today. I didn't get into the business profession, a business analysis profession. I'm not yet up to a year, guys. That's the truth. I started this journey in August last year, August. But I have improved and improved and read and volunteered because it was important to me. All right. So imagine that I can do it, all of this, in less than a year. You can as well. Can you see my gray hairs? So I don't even have that much time. Yeah, but I need to, this is important. And if it's important, then you make it work. Okay. The first thing, the 8-step business analysis process is, sorry, my laptop is acting funny. You need to get orientated. You need to understand, what is this business? What am I going to be doing? What do I need to understand? Which is why a lot of times contract roles can be difficult, especially if you're a new business analyst, because in a contract role, you get there today, you start working today. That's the mindset, because it's a contract. You know what you're doing. You're a contractor. You've been doing this a lot, right? It doesn't give you, not a lot of them, maybe some, they don't give you that time and chance to get used to the work. Okay, so it's important that you understand that when you're applying. I would always say think permanent and sort of grow in that. Have a body system, make mistakes. When your legs are strong, like we will say, when your legs are strong in Nigeria, apologies to those who are not Nigerian here, then it's easy to take off running in a contract role. Okay, so get orientated, discover the primary business objective that is important, have background on all areas. And to do that, you're going to have to go and do some research. If you don't have the background, also ask the organization. That's another thing. What do you have about this? What has been done in the past? Can I see your process maps? Can I see your process documents? Can I see your strategy documents? That would help you, your vision and mission statement documents. That would help you begin to understand all of those things that I've talked about before. If you haven't done that, you need to go back and start again. Don't just jump in the middle and feel that you can work. When you are able to do that, it's then easier to define the scope. Of course, defining the scope, you need to do that with the project sponsors, either in a large group or in a small group, but that is how you define the scope. When you've done that, you have the scope statement. Why? Your scope tells you the area within which you are working for a project. And I would go, when we go a little low, further down, I would show you why you need to define the scope and how to do it with the mandate that I put in, the case study that I put in there. So we'll look at that. And then you formulate a BA plan. A BA plan really is how you're going to get this work done, right? To say, okay, great. And which is why I talk about the fact that we can't function in space of business of project managers, because project managers do this as well, right? Formulating the BA plan is saying, okay, you know what, this is the day I'm going to create this high level document. These are the documents I need to work on. These are the people I'm going to be working with. This is how much it's going to cost. Why? Because people are billed hourly. Next, this is what I'm going to do next. After I formulated this, I need to validate that with the sponsor. So basically creating a plan of work. An action plan is formulating the BA plan, and that is something that is important. At the end of the day, you have a document that shows the BA plan that is shared with your stakeholders. Of course, it is not cast in stone and it is flexible, but again, you need to be very careful when you're formulating it, because you don't want to seem like somebody that doesn't know what they're doing. Okay, so that is important for the BA plan. From the BA plan, you will notice that arrow, and this is a flow chart, right? This is a process, and this is a lot of the things you're going to be doing in a lot of organizations. Understanding this process, improving on this process, right? That's just, what you're going to be doing. Gotcha. Then define the detailed requirements. That is part of the BA plan. All right. That defining it is part of the BA plan, because you're going to have to write it there to say these are the things that we're going to do, right? So defining the detailed requirements, and that leads you to your artifacts or your BA deliverables. When you define it, what are you expecting? You need to have a high level requirement document. You need to have a business case document. You need to have a budget framework. You need to have a constraints framework. All of these things, and I'll discuss them a little later. So take a deep breath, take a deep breath. And then of course, to support the technical implementation. Once you have done all of these things, you're supporting, you then move into build. Now, some technical BA analysts are able to build. I cannot code to save my life. Which I want to learn, right? But those of you who have coding skills are invaluable right now, because there are some organizations that are trying to, they're working with the lean methodology. And in that regard, they need BAs who are technical, who have coding experience. And they'll be more than happy to add you to the team. Why? Because they know that you can code. And a lot of them offer flexible work. Yeah, so if you can, great. But if you can't, then it's still fine. You don't have to. Nah, I ain't gonna learn it. Okay. I'm making you guys laugh this early morning because I got you guys so early into this class, but I needed to because I want to sleep later. Then, of course, you help the businesses implement the solution. So after it has been built, you then need to work with the business, which is why I'm saying that NHS lady, I don't know what happened, maybe money, because everybody's cutting money, but I don't feel that number 7 was done properly. If not, it would have integrated a little smoother. So integrating is very important for you as a business analyst. Somebody just keeps sending me message. I'm sorry, I'll shut down my phone. Yeah, and then assess the value created by the solution. So there is a value, what's it called? There's a business value document that you typically create, and what you're doing in that document, you have it throughout. It's not part of your business. It depends on the organization. Their business cases are different. So depending on the organization, it could be part of your business case, but it is like a benefits review plan. All right. So you're looking at the benefits and saying, these are the benefits. So it's like your SLA, right? Your service level agreement. So you're looking at that agreement and saying, these are the things that we agreed to do on this project. And then this is where we are right now. So there'll be a benchmark. The benchmark is your as is where the current state of the organization, and your to be flows from there. So you're reviewing it and saying, this is where you were, these were the issues you were having, but based on all of these things that we have done, these are the benefits that we can't see, right? And for some people, that's just their job as a business analyst. You're reviewing the tactical frameworks that have been implemented. That's your work as a business analyst. So there's so many different areas, right? But you need to be purposeful, really purposeful. And much as many people don't like LinkedIn, and many people are not on LinkedIn, but I feel that LinkedIn is a really good tool. It's not the only tool, but I just feel for professionalism's sake, I think it's a really good tool. Another tool is Twitter, because I've noticed recently I've had quite a number of, my Twitter account is very small. I'm not even up to 1,000 followers. But I've noticed that I've had a lot of industry professionals begin to follow me in the past month, 4 weeks, and that's because of the stuff that I've been tweeting about, right? Very technical things, but in a very easy to understand format. Because this is business analysis thing, you cannot kill yourself, but you can do the work. So you don't have to think about the technicality. There's no point. Relax, right? But you can still get a good job done. Yeah. So that's what you do with number 8, and then of course you have your performance report, and it can be called different things. And then based on that, is there a new project that we should be thinking about or no? If there's a new project, then you go back and start that process again. If not, then you end the process. Okay, so that is a process flow that sort of shows you what we do. So this is your work overview as a business analyst. The project start or the project initiate stage, and then you go into the requirements elicitation workshop. You go into the requirements analysis stage, because you cannot just elicit requirements and leave it like that. No, sir and ma'am, you have to share that requirement. Now, I just thought about it. Is there maybe 1 or 2 of you here that might feel there's somebody that might benefit from this class? Maybe you can share the link with them. I'm okay with that. Just so that, yeah, that's it, right? So yeah, business process modeling as well is part of your job. So when you have created and analyzed that requirement, you need to go into the business process modeling, which is why you need to understand your tools. People feel, yes, your organization will give you tools to use, but there's nothing wrong with you buying your own. Okay, buy your Visio, pay for your Lucid chart, pay for your whatever, and just pay. Okay, try and find an all-in-one tool. They're very difficult, but I've just noticed, and you believe it, 2 days or 3 days ago, I noticed that Visio does wireframes. I was like, what? No, you're here? But then I'm learning how to use, because I don't know how to use Visio for wireframes, but I'm learning that now. I didn't even know it existed. Anyway, business process modeling, and then plotting the customer journey. That is extremely, extremely important. And there's some of you here who might have a lot of skill in customer journey, but how do you do it as a business analyst? That might just be what you need, and we'll talk about that a little later. The development and implementation of the initiative, all this new process that you have put together. User acceptance testing, which is UAT, is important. And then deployment. Remember, if you're working agile, you're going to be doing the minimum viable product. So you're going to be releasing these in tranches. I call them tranches, but you're going to be releasing them in several different iterations. Okay, so that development, implementation, user acceptance testing, deployment might sort of and even post the deployment, they will be in several iterations. Okay, not one big one like you would find in waterfall. All right, we good? You guys with me? All right, so I'm going to quickly move past this because I have it here. So this same one, I put it in here because I thought it was just sort of, you understand the flow again. So basically what I've done, thanks, Timi Lawani, thank you so much. I like your energy. You're giving me energy in this class. Right? Okay. So the first stage is start with requirement elicitation. That's important. Start and requirement elicitation. Start because you have to sort of get the documents that you need. You have to get the go ahead to say, you know what, go with this work. And that is important. And then stage 2, which is still stage 1, is then definition. Okay. So you need to begin to define what needs to be done. And that is where you go into analysis, right? You're looking at the need and defining the needs and saying, this is the problem here. And these are the things that we need to begin to do. And then, of course, prioritization, and then BPMN process, business process mapping or modeling is where you then go into. Yes, and then stage 3 is your customer journey, deployment and user acceptance testing. Monitoring is stage 4. Is it working? What is not working? Are there bugs? Is there something I need to correct? Is there a new iteration I need to think about? That is what happens in stage 4. Stage 4 are your final logs, your handover. That's what you're doing. If there's a new project that you have found based on, remember this one? Remember number 8, after number 8, is there a new project you discovered? Then you start again. Otherwise, then you end. Okay, that's what it is. So this is what we're going to be looking at today. This is our case study. It's called, the organization is called, what did I call it? Beauty Beyond Retail. That's the name of that's the company name, Beauty Beyond Retail Company. And they're looking at enhancing their online customer experience. We know how big a deal this is for any organization, because that is what would increase the footprint of people, get people coming back. So and you guys are going to do this by yourself. Okay. So how are we going to do this? How is this going to work? Right. So that's what they're looking at. Fantastic. Hi, Joanne. So Beyond Retail is a well-established retail chain with multiple brick-and-mortar stores across the country. Does this sound familiar? Yes. The company recently expanded its operations by launching an online platform to cater to the growing demand for e-commerce. Yes, people like me that don't want to go out. When I go out, I don't have the energy to carry plenty load. I want to buy it online. I want to see it in store. Then when we come back home, I come and buy it. Right. However, they have been facing challenges in providing a seamless and engaging online customer experience, leading to low conversion rates and customer dissatisfaction. What are we going to do to solve this? That is the cocoa of the work. Okay. So again, that work overview is going to come into play here. The project has started. So you guys need to have a requirements elicitation session. Now look at the work stages. I broke down this really high level gist. I broke it down into smaller and a bit more understandable. So you want to maybe take a picture of this slide, because this would help you in the future, in your interviews, in planning, even your workflow. So I would advise take a picture of this slide because I think it will help. So you receive the mandate. That's the mandate we just got. You need to have a pre-elicitation prep meeting. That is where you're finding the questions, you're understanding the background, you're doing some research about what is happening in retail, customer journey, customer dissatisfaction. You're going to find out what has happened in the past. There's nothing wrong with going to find out what has happened in the past. Okay, a bit bolder. Can you scroll on your screen? It's literally impossible for me to make it bolder. So maybe you want to scroll your screen and sort of make your screen bolder. Yeah, thanks. You're raising questions, you're planning the workshop material, you're organizing the workshop, and then you're holding the workshop. That is important. And that is part of that part 2, requirements elicitation / workshop. That is what you're doing in that stage. And you go into the next stage, right, which is the analysis. So you're looking at your user and functional requirements, which is UR and FR. You're looking at the non-functional requirements, because when you talk about seamless is I don't know, as a user, I want to click and navigate easily, right? But how do I ensure that the speed, right, is easy? How do I ensure that I'm moving from one to another, right? So that is looking at the design. But again, beyond the design, you're looking at the system performance. And that is on the back end of things that I, as a user, I don't know. I go on the website, I want to click. I want to shop. And that's it. And I need it to happen quickly, right? I also need it to prompt me easily. So all of that, the usability, right, and the functionalities are all non-functional requirements, okay? And then the as is, what is the current state? You need to be able to determine what the current state is and plot that. To B, what is the future state based on what I said I need and where I'm not happy with. Use cases. These are all documents that you need to be able to prepare. They're diagrammatic, they're business architecture documents, but you need to be able to design and use them appropriately as a business analyst. The to be state, that's the future state. Oh, I talked about that. I repeated that. So just delete that. I'll delete it. And then, of course, you then go, when you've done that, you go into a slightly more detailed requirement. So the thing is, it's like when you're on a beach, you see big rocks, you see smaller rocks, you see maybe slightly smaller pebbles that are smoother, and then you see grains of sand. That is the thing with requirement analysis as a business analyst. You start with the really big requirements. These are things like users need to be able to shop. That's it. Users need to be able to pay. That's another one. Users need to be able to complain. Those are big. They're not small requirements that you're looking at, but then like a funnel. Thank you very much, Joanne. Perfect. It's like a funnel. It starts with the big requirements and it keeps getting smaller till eventually you can deliver that process. So think about it as a funnel. Fantastic example there. Epics features as is and the to be state. Again, you're looking at refinements there. So actually take out the as is and to be state. I don't know what I was thinking. And then you go into prototyping and solution design. So your user stories, your acceptance criteria, your wireframes, your prototypes, your key screens, those are things that you're going to be doing as well. Now, not all organizations do this. Some organizations have a really robust development team and they handle all of that. You only need to probably do your user stories and acceptance criteria. Wireframing and all the others, the development team does it. But if an organization can't do it or doesn't have the capacity to do it, it will fall on right on your desk as a business analyst. So it's good to know it. Then, of course, product backlog. Again, you will need to do this with the development team. Again, it depends on the organization, but I would always say just know it. The product backlog, and then, of course, the sprint backlog, the test scripts, moving into Agile, the 3 Amigo meetings, that is when you go into your development stage. And then products, right? Using the test cases when you go into product development, and that is the software development life cycle. This is where there's a software. Sometimes there's no software to develop, and it's just process that you're drawing, and you end there. And you then create standard operating procedures, and that's what you're doing. The organizations, that's what you're doing in that organization, creating the SOPs, detailing the process for the SOPs, looking at alternate flows, and just sort of creating that that framework that makes the organization work well without the software part of it. All right, so you need to understand that as well. Using the test cases, the test results, bug tickets. If something didn't work, that's a bug ticket, and then feeding that back into the system and into the next iteration. And then the deployment, right? What is the minimum viable product that you guys have agreed on during your sprint planning meeting before you moved into the sprint backlog? Looking at that and saying, did we deliver? Guides for the users, like this is my NHS lady. If she had a user guide, maybe that would have been working for her. And then deploying into the live environment, right? Then post-deployment, monitoring, SLA checks, which is where I talked about our business benefit document, okay? So, yeah. So that is the mandate again. I sort of put it all the time so that you guys can look at it and just get really used to the mandates. Yeah, so what... sorry, I'm just trying to, because I need you guys to do some work. All right. Yeah, I need you guys to do some work. Basically, what I need you guys to do is you've gotten the mandate. I need you guys to sort of research and understand the background. So we would split up into maybe 2 groups. Or you guys do it here. I'll just sit down and be watching you guys. I'll unmute everybody's mic or move you guys into a breakout room, or maybe you have to. You guys, let us know. What do you think? Do we go into 2 sessions? Because there are 8 of you minus me, so 8 of you. So 4 in each group. And what you need to do is do a bit of just quick research, not too much. Some of you already have that information, which is great. Quick research, plan the questions, and what are the sort of questions that you want to ask the sponsor, because you're going to have to ask the sponsors, right? And then have the meeting, document the session, right? And then we move into analyzing the requirements. So that's what I need you guys to do in your breakout rooms. So you know what, let's do breakout rooms. Yeah, so when you go into your breakout room, what you want to say is, what do we know about this industry? What could be the possible problem that they're having? How can we, what are the questions that we should ask that would help us understand where they are right now and where they want to be? Based on those answers that you get, when you guys come back and ask me those questions, then I can tell you we can then go back and analyze these this session. Okay, did somebody just run away? They're like, I'm not ready for this. I cannot. Let's hope it's network. Yes, and these are the techniques, all right? But what you're doing, regardless of the technique, is you're defining and understanding the business need. That is the entire point of requirement elicitation. And this is why, this is a problem that you would have in requirement elicitation. Sometimes sponsors don't really know what it is that they want, which is why having a right set of questions would guide them to the right place, okay? So requirement elicitation is all of these steps. It's not just talking with the sponsor. It ends with analysis. Okay, it ends with the analysis. So that's where I need you guys to do now is have the questions ready so that we can move this forward. Okay. Okay. So yeah. So let's stop here. Let's stop here. And let me stop share. Okay. So do you all want to go? Maybe you all should go out into a breakout room. Yeah, or we just do it here. You know what? Let me unmute the mic. Let's all do it here. So you can all unmute your mics. Let me do that. Where are you? Wait. Okay, found it. Okay, so you guys go into the requirement analysis session now, and I would allow one of you, yeah, so you can share your screen, and I will just be quiet in the background. Somebody please take the lead. And let's begin to form sort of questions that you have. Do you guys have the mandate, or do you want me to put the mandate up? Do you have the mandate, or do you want me to put it up?
I think you should put it up.
Okay. But if I put it up, then you guys will not be able to share your screen. Please unmute your mics and ask and begin to develop questions. Maybe you want to use the chat box, but this is the mandate, or somebody take a picture of the mandate. And because you guys need to be able to collate your questions. Okay, so you guys please go into collating questions. Start to type what sort of questions do you want, and let me show you a tool that you can use for that. This is a tool that you can use for collating your questions. You type the questions, you would need to have the answers. We then determine the business need, right? And then determine, is this a user requirement, a functional requirement, a non-functional requirement, and what is the priority? Priority is something I haven't talked to you guys about. I was hoping that we'll do that later. Your priority is your Moscow. Do I have that here? Sorry, guys. Yeah. So your Moscow is important, right? Your Moscow is your prioritization technique. Are these features, must they have it? Should we have it? Could we have it? We won't have it, right? So that's your Moscow prioritization technique. That is really important for you as a business analyst as well. Otherwise, you would go out of budget because sponsors want everything. But what should they really want? What do they really want? Your prioritization technique helps you with that. Okay. So yeah. You know what? Let me teach you. Let me do a few more before you guys go on. So just hold on a second before you guys go on. This is just understanding what you need to do. I put this here just so that you understand. It's a pre-workshop. You need to analyze the stakeholders. Stakeholders, again, are the users. What are the different types of users? So you need to choose a business domain, choose a beauty domain. Okay, it's a beauty organization like we know. Let's go back to that mandate. Beyond beauty retail company. So what are they retailing, or what are the different products they're retailing? You guys will need to have that agreement. So somebody please note that down. You need to have that agreement on what they're going to be retailing. Identify the sources of the requirements. That's where are these problems originating from. We know that it's in the customer, the flow and engagement, and leading into faulty conversion. So that's we know. Yeah, selecting the tools, the techniques, and the approaches is also part. Now we're going to use the agile methodology because that's where we're here. That's going to be the approach that we're going to use. And then different tools, and of course eliciting the requirements. Now these are some of the problems that you find with elicitation. So let me just go through this very quickly before you guys move into analyzing the problem. These are the issues that we find with elicitation workshops. Getting it right? Who are the people that are supposed to be involved? Are you supposed to invite everybody? There are many organizations where people just want to be in spaces where they don't even need to be in that meeting, but they feel like it gives them a sense of importance. So managing egos is part of your job as a business analyst. Sometimes stakeholders don't know what it is that they want. They might seem like they know it, but by the time you get into those workshops, you find that they don't know, and it can be very frustrating. There's requirements in their own terms, right? They're like things like, but I want my customers to be happy. What is you want your customers to be happy? What does that mean? Right? But that is a business problem. That is a need. So you then need to have a solution that, based on all the other things that they say, would make the customers happy. All right. And then conflicting requirements. Again, where you have, especially where you have more than one leader, right? Especially in integration projects, you sort of see this. Everybody wants to show their team that they are the boss. And so they are the ones that want to be the one to tell you, this is what you should do. Another person will say, no, this is what you should do. And that can be really, it can be problematic, but you're still going to have to learn how to manage it, managing that conflict. And requirement change analysis as well. They change during the process. You find out, oh no, we don't think that we needed that anymore. Or even you as a business analyst, as you're doing the work, you're like, this thing is not making sense. You know what? Let's change this and go back and ask the sponsor if this is okay. And that's fine. And then of course, organizational drama, can affect things as well. Now, I also put this here because I thought it was important. The first thing is domain understanding. Always, always, always domain understanding. So let me annotate that. So you start, first of all, with understanding the domain. All right. From there, you go into your requirements elicitation. If that requirements elicitation is great, you want to, if it's not great, then you want to go back and understand the domain understanding again. Because if you don't, the requirement validation is faulty, then you're not going to move forward, right? So that's something that you look at there. Now, when you understand the domain, you then go into the requirements collection process. From there, we do what? We classify the requirements. So you start here, and then you go here, and then you come here. Classifying the requirements is in terms of their priority levels. You then go into whatever, if there are any conflicts or conflicting requirements, you then, maybe two requirements are exactly the same, but they're from different departments, find a way to resolve those conflicts. You then go into, classification is functional, non-functional, user requirements. That's what classification is, my apologies. And then you go into prioritization. Which one is the most important? Which one isn't? And then you go into validation. If there's a problem with validation, you go back to domain understanding. If you understood it, then your validation should be correct. And then you should go into definition and specifications, okay? So that's how it works. But when you are prioritizing, if you notice that there's still a problem and you're not unable to prioritize, that means there's still a conflict situation. You then need to go back to your conflict resolution. If you still can't, you have to go back to the classification. Maybe you classified it wrongly, or you collected the wrong requirement. So that's how that works, okay, with elicitation, which is why you really want to get it right. Because if you don't get it right, it can just be a mess. So write even the stupidest questions, find out, and always go back and review the documentation that already exists. I find that it really helps. I've already talked about the Moscow, when I was talking earlier, but that is what it is. It's important for you to know, and based on your mandate, you can already see what are the must-haves. Okay, why you need to do this as a business analyst is when you're creating those processes. If you forget something that is extremely important, it can mess up the whole thing, and that would set you back in terms of time management, also in terms of the budget. All right, so you want to be sure that it's correct. Now, this is the question the elicitation meeting answers here. This sign off, you want to get that sign off from your sponsor to say, this is what I beg your pardon, to say, yeah, it's my laptop. Okay, this last box is the entire purpose, okay, which is box number 6. You need to obtain that sign off. But to obtain the sign off, these are the steps that you're going to go through. You start, first of all, by identifying the process, validating identify the requirement, validate the process scope so that you know it. You're ready to then define. So these are all business-oriented steps. You decompose the processes into steps and activities. That is very important. So it's, first of all, big, and then it needs to be decomposed. You then analyze the tasks, the activities, and the steps that need to be taken, broken down to get the work done. Yeah, and then document the solutions requirements, you validate them, and then you get a sign off. That is very, very important for you. Now, this screen that you can see here talks about the different types of requirements, okay? And as a business analyst, you need to understand that your business requirements are always high level because this is the sponsor. telling you what they want, and they're looking at it from a business perspective. Okay, this is the business perspective. There's nothing you can do about it, because that's how they see things. They don't see things as you as a business analyst sees it. They see it from, my business is suffering, my clients are not happy, they're not able to navigate my website properly, I don't know, maybe I should shut it down and just stick with brick and mortar. They're just conflicted, right? And that's where you come in. But they look at it as a business. You then need to step into the shoes of the user, right? Which is where, when I talked about in this slide, understanding analyzing the stakeholders, that's number 3. It's so critical for you to be able to analyze the stakeholders and break them down into the personas. They're called user personas, right? Those are the user requirements right there. From there, you go into the system requirements, like what are we meant to build? All right, so looking at the point below, I was very happy when I saw this image, actually, because it's just perfect, really. I wish I saw this at the beginning of my journey. It makes it so easy. So the business requirements are the sponsor's point of view. They're the scope of your project. Please don't forget it. That's the scope of your project. Don't go and do what the sponsor did not ask you to do. If you go into a budget overrun, that'll be problematic. That is a won't have. Okay, and then is the business objectives, right? So that is business requirements. That's why if you are in business right now, or you work in the business management operational side of things, being a business analyst, you will find it so easy. The only difficult part will be learning the tools and then just understanding the process flow. But doing the work, you will love it, because you're like, that's what I do. It's very exciting. It's very exciting. Yes, then you go into the user requirements. It's like I'm drinking, it's like I'm high on business. Business analysis. Guys, don't marry me. I'm high on this thing. I really like it. I'm sure you can tell. I really like it. Right? And so you go into the user requirements. You're looking at the user's point of view. What are the goals of the user? I want to shop. That's the goal of the user. And I want to shop as quickly as possible. That's what you want to do. That's what they want. And it is important to always remember. It is interesting, Timmy. I can't even, it is very, very interesting. Very interesting. It's a lot of fun. It's a lot of work, but it's a lot of fun, right? Because you're solving problems. You can actually see my background is education, and one of the things that gives me the most joy is when a child is struggling with something, either struggling to walk, struggling to talk, struggling to feed themselves, and they do it. It's a high on its own. So that's what this does for me as well. Right? And then, of course, user input and output. So that is important for you for the user requirements. You then go into the system requirements, functional requirements. That's what does the system do? Now, it's not just what the system does, it's what does the system do based on what the user needs. So if you're thinking about functional requirements, and I will break it down in the next slide, you must think of things like, I need to be able to shop. That's for the user. I just want to be able to add to cart and pay, right? So your functional requirements would be, what is the action? It means that I need to have a button in place where they can add to cart. I need to be able to analyze and categorize the different things that they need to buy, so it is a clear format for them, again, to add to cart. My payment needs to be easy, such that they can pay easily, they can select delivery easily, and they're not frustrated with the system and walk away. That is what you're looking at there. And all of us have been on websites where we were simply frustrated by the process and walked away. That is a poor user integration system right there, right? And then you go into the non-functional. How does the user does this? That blue square, rectangle, it's not a square, that blue rectangle is extremely, extremely important for the success of the work that you're doing. Your functional requirements and your non-functional requirements. It's very, very important for you. Okay. Yeah, so these are the deliverables, right? What you think about deliverables, artifacts as well is what we call them. They are very important. So for your first stage, remember the stage 1A and stage 1B. All right, initiate 1A, initiate 1B. Elicitation questions, the elicitation session. You need to plan a proper elicitation session. You need to have the right set of elicitation questions that dive into all of these things. These questions your questions need to align with all of these things. It is so important, all right? You need to plan that session to make sure that people who are in that session are in that session. Sending the email at the right time, attaching the agenda is critical. Making sure that maybe you have an RSVP system is also very important. What else do you need? The timing, you know, it might not work for everybody. So when you're setting out timing, be very careful not to give a timing that is too broad so that they choose, and you keep narrowing it down. It can be crazy. So add a footnote. We'll try and accommodate everybody's time. Maybe just put 2 timing and 2 days, and that's fine. And then people can choose either this or this, and then you plan your sessions. And then you develop your high-level requirements based on that session, which is the analysis of the initial one, and then you prioritize those high-level requirements that you've had. Then that moves you into stage 2, okay? Getting your functional requirements and on your non-functional requirements. When you're done with those 2, that's 1 and 2 from stage 2, you can validate it with the sponsor, okay? Why? Because you've gotten all of this. Okay, you've gotten your business requirements, which are really high level. You've gotten your user requirements, which are part of they're high level as well, but they will be in that documentation. You've gotten your system requirements. So your sponsor or sponsors, depending on how many people you're working with, can say, you know what, go ahead with this, right? Are you guys following? If you're following, please let me know you're following. You can just use the chat box. Okay, so it is making sense. You can see how it should work. Great, fantastic. Thank you guys. Okay, fantastic. Great. All right. And then of course, when it has been validated, you then go into your use case. And I will show you guys how to do a use case based on this mandate. And then of course your as is process map and your to be process map. Okay. Some of you already know how to use these tools. So what are the requirement gathering? What are the tools that you need? You need to have your list of questions. You have to have your research ideas. It's important so that when you're asking questions that make sense. You need to categorize your questions. Okay, that is important. You need to categorize those questions. Okay, great, Oluwatoyin. Welcome to the world of BA. I hope you're loving it so far based on just some of these things that I've said. So go back and do a bit more research after this. That would help you. Yes. Fantastic. Have you done a training for a BA training, Oluwatoyin and Andrew? Okay, let's go on while she's responding to that, right? And to be honest, you can use any tool. It's just that MS Word, PowerPoint, Excel, Confluence, these are easy. Confluence is Atlatician, I'll drop the link.com is free for one person. You can use it to manage your product backlog. You can use Confluence to manage the entire process. You know, these are free tools. So I usually like to recommend free tools. Fantastic. Great. I usually like to recommend free tools so that it's easy for you to use. Okay, but there's some that you have to pay for, but some of these registration tools you can use these ones that I've put up, and with MS Project and PowerPoint you can use it to list your questions, document your research ideas, categorize your questions, prioritize your requirements, and then create that initial document that you send to your sponsor. Okay, that is what you use it for. But again, depending on the organization, some organizations have other tools that they use that have been developed for them, which is fine. When you get there, you just need to understand it. And of course, this is what you want to see in your tools. This is the end point for your requirements gathering session. Okay, you start with your stakeholders. You go into you identify your stakeholder. I beg your pardon. You go into your workshop. You go into requirements analysis based on what you have gotten from the requirements. And then guess what you do? You create your non-functional requirements, your technical security requirements, usability requirements. And then you go into your functional requirements, things like your billing, your shipping, other processing. So this is an example. Your non-functional requirements tell you things like speed click and what it means, security systems, GDPR compliance, data points. Those ones have nothing to do with the user. I don't even know that exists, but it's there. Your login, your access. If it doesn't work, they'll tell you to go back. So the system would block a wrong code or a wrong username or a wrong password, but that's the system blocking it. I just know that I want the system to block it, right? So those are sort of the way the user is protected. What are the users going to do? Users need to be able to what? Enter in their username, enter in their password, click enter. That's user, all right? But how the system functions and what it should do, and when you look at your functional requirements, it needs to be able to bill people and collect money, okay? And move it and send an email to say your billing has been successful. So it cannot automatically go into what? Shipping. And say select your shipping options, right? How it does that I don't know. Those are usability requirements. I don't know how it does that, but it does do that. Oh, my battery is running low. Yeah. And then, of course, order processing. All of that are stuff that I don't know how it happens, but it should happen. And the new system will be what? When you're doing your high-level requirements and you're presenting it to the sponsor, you need to be able to show them the benefits, which is where you need to have a business case. That's why sometimes people don't even release a lot of money till you give them a business case. Okay, so you need to be able to say these are the benefits. So you need to understand how to write a business case. I won't teach you today. We'll do that one on another day, or maybe on my Twitter, on Facebook, not Facebook, Twitter or LinkedIn. I might do that on one of those tools. Yeah. So what are the benefits I'm getting from the system? Why should I release £150,000 for you to develop a new system for me? I need to be able to see that. And these are the things that you get. Is more efficient, higher performance, scalable application because of the scalability that we've put in when we're building it as a non-functional requirement. Lower cost. So you don't need as many people because this system is going to ensure that all your checkout units are done automatically. Fast processing of orders, higher receiving money, reliable collection, right? So those are the things that your endpoint for your requirements gathering session, that's what it needs to arrive at. If you're not arriving at these very clearly articulated benefits, then there is a bit of a problem. Okay. Yeah. So what will you produce? Your artifacts. Again, high-level requirement, functional requirement document, non-functional requirement document, use case diagram, as is and to be process map. Your business case is meant to be here. I forgot to add that, sorry. But your business case is here to be here. That's number 7. Okay. And so these are sort of the flow that we would like to see. This is a what is this one? Customer support process. You can see so this is a high level meeting. Okay, so some of these things I'm not going to break them down, guys, because I just can't. We don't have the time. We'll take a bit of a break in a minute, and then we can come back maybe just after about 20 minutes. These ones here, 1, 2, 3, are called swim lanes. When you have more than one swim lane, it's called a pool. So the processes that only is the support manager. That's the only process. That is just a process. That's a pool. Sorry, a swim lane, and you only need one. Okay, but when it's more than one, it is called a pool. All right. So it's called a pool, which is this is a pool because you have several different processes embedded within one process. And this is a support department, as you see here. That's the pool. You look at the front desk, the technician, and the support manager. Okay, this timing here, the support people don't know that there's a timing there, but that is built in as a functional requirement because you want as a non-functional requirement because you want it to time out. Okay, so that's what I mean by the function. Okay, so we're going to group work now. It has reminded me about the group work. Yes, so how do you feel, guys, now about your elicitation? Once you bring out these questions, it doesn't matter. Let's just do something, okay? It doesn't have to be perfect, just so that it makes sense, okay? So let's go into this. You guys, think about the questions that you want to ask the sponsor based on the mandate, all right? And we can type up those questions in the chat box. You can unmute your mic and speak about the questions, but somebody needs to document it because I ain't gonna do that. If you want to share your screen, let me know. I will stop share, and then we can begin to put the documents up so that people are even seeing the questions, and that makes sense. Yep. So let me stop share. Who's going to share their screen and collate the documents, and let's move it into functional, non-functional, user requirements, understand the business needs. Who's going to do that?
I don't mind doing that.
So let's think about it. Let's take a break so that when we come in, we'll just run. Fantastic. I like that question. What are the key products you plan to sell? But let's take a break, guys. Let's take a break. Let's take a 10 minutes break, and then we'll come back in 10 minutes so that we can run and then end the session. All right, let's just take a 10 minutes break because we're going into the technical requirements now. 11:18. Let's be back at 11:30. Okay, fantastic, Joanne. Thank you so much for that. Great. So we'll come back at 11:30, guys. Okay, so 11:30 we're back, which is about 10 minutes. Yeah. So see you at 11:30. And we're back. Hi, everyone. Okay. So let's share. Let's begin to think about the questions. And yeah, Joanne says that she's happy to document those questions. So yeah, Joanne, if you could go ahead and document those questions, that'd be great. Fabulous, Emilia. So great questions. I've seen two questions have been put in. What are the key products you're selling, not plan to sell? And remember that question indicates that you haven't done any research. So if you've done some research, remember the website currently exists. So you need to have done some research on the current website. Joanne, are you able to share? Or you just want to collate it without sharing? That's fine.
Yeah, I was planning to collate it and then share, but
Okay,
I could share as well. That works.
That's fine. What is the current traffic and conversion rate of the website? Okay, that's a good one to have. So let me put up the mandate again, since Joanne is collating offline. Okay, so that's the mandate again. So let's look at the mandate and ask questions that help us understand this. Is there, I would find out if one question that I would add is there a feedback process where clients can put their feedback about the issues that they're having? So that would be something great to have on the website. What products receive the lowest sales? That's another one, because then that sort of helps you focus on a particular area on the website that could be having the problems. What other questions can you guys think about? Let me see who is here that hasn't typed a question. I'm going to call you out. Anu Oluwapo, Nelo, Olarenwaju, Oluwaseun, Oluwatoyin. Guys, type up questions. Okay, just think. Then what are the highest sales? Just thinking about that. What problem is the product aimed at solving? Okay. It's a beauty retail company. So they're probably selling things like, so let's put it there. Fantastic. What locations do they get the most traffic from? Yeah, that's a good one. What problem are they aiming at solving? It's a beauty brand, so it's a but great one. Let's put it in there so the sponsor can answer. So this company sells makeup products. So any makeup products that are for female. So things like your lipstick, your lip gloss, your face powder, and they stock makeup from other. So they don't have their company. They don't have their company because they're a retail brand. So they have things like MAC. They have things like, I'm not a great cosmetician. I probably would not be the best person to answer these questions, but that's what they do, retail. So people come in and load their product on the website on the website. What are the considerations for customer support? That's a good one, Timmy. Good one. Really good one. Fantastic. Look, is awake. We're awake. I love it. Fantastic. Because yes, it could just be that there's no need to answer that. Fantastic question. Happy to see. Okay, what other questions? Come on, guys. It's getting hot in here. Okay, should we stop now and just go on with these questions that we have? Maybe we should do that. So we just go on into analyzing these questions. Yeah. Payment gateways. Fantastic questions. Policies around returns. Fantastic. These are great. These are good. How do you categorize your products? Fantastic. Yeah. Just when I said maybe we should stop, but all your questions just came in. Fantastic. But yeah, we can. These are good. These are good. Very good. Very good. Okay. Loyalty programs. Ah, Amelia, fabuloso. Okay, loyalty referral programs, fantastic. Okay, so let's, Joanne, have you been able to capture all of those questions?
I think I'm
Okay.
getting almost there. I'm almost there. I may have missed
Okay,
a few,
so that
but
we can see them and then begin to categorize. Wow, more. What shipping methods do you employ? Must buyers sign up before they can check out? Fantastic. These are all good. Good questions. I have a lot of business analysts in the house. What are the current payment processes? Fantastic. Joanne, I'm sure you're probably going to be reading. Type it. But these are great questions.
okay, I think I'll just go ahead and share what I have so far, and then if anything's missing, I can just
We can
pop
add
it.
it in. Yes. How responsive and fast is the website? This is a good one. Actually, they're all good ones. I keep saying this is a good one. This is a good one. This is a good one. Fantastic.
Oh,
Okay.
I had that before, right?
Yeah. Oh, you took out that one?
Yeah, I had it before.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Payment gateways. Okay, guys, please take a look at the questions and let's see, has Joanne been able to capture all the questions? Okay. So if she hasn't captured one, just unmute your mic and just let her know what it is, so that she can add it in, and then we can go into the analysis. Okay. Wow, these are a lot of questions. The way you guys are so quiet in the beginning, I just assumed we're just gonna have 3, 4, 5 questions. Who are the target market for the products? I think we've had that before. No? Categorize the products. Did that just come in, categorizing the products? Or you're just checking?
Yeah, I'm just going through
All right.
earlier ones.
Okay. All right. So based on these now, I mean, it would be great if this was in a table.
Okay.
But, yeah, if it's possible to put it in a table,
Okay, I
just
could
so
do
that
that.
we very clearly can begin to attach, because we need to know, is this a user requirement or what would be the user requirements?
So how many columns?
Make them 6. Yeah. So can we make it landscape?
Sure. Oh, sorry.
Thank you. Yeah. Okay. I think that's sort of the part.
More.
Do we need more?
Okay, I think we have like 17
Yeah, I
questions.
think we have more than enough though.
Okay. Yeah,
Yeah,
okay.
they all fit in. Fantastic. Okay. Okay, so what products are you selling? So let me answer that. Makeup products from different brands. So that's gonna be the answer. So you guys need to ask these questions. Let's act like as if we're really in a session. Okay, so who's gonna answer? Who's gonna ask?
Am I putting it in the right boxes? Do I
Yeah,
need to leave all
yeah,
the
that's
boxes?
it. That's it.
Okay.
So just put answer on the top.
Okay.
So is there a feedback? Then put on those columns, put user requirement. You can just put UR. UR,
Business
FR.
requirement. Okay.
Yeah, FR, NFR.
Okay.
Priority.
I think we need one more column for business need.
We need one more, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Priority. How do you spell priority again? Okay, I think that's it. Bear with me. Okay.
Yeah, business need or business area. Yeah. Okay. And you can let's not focus on the order. Let's just focus on answering these questions. Okay. So ask the questions, because this is a workshop. This is
Okay.
how your workshop is really. You're coming in. Okay.
Can I have the next question? Yeah. Okay. Thank you. So is there a feedback mechanism, like when a customer purchases something online, how do they get feedback? Is it online, like online support, or do you have to call in to get feedback?
They have to call in. We don't have a feedback mechanism right now. They just have to, but there's a contact us page where they can type a contact message, but we don't have a feedback mechanism.
Okay. So based on based on your metrics, I'll just let Joanne keep typing. I ask the questions. So based on your metrics, like in the past quarter, what product have had the lowest sales? And is it like an age group or a location where this sales has come from?
We're not sure. We don't have a way to check that. So we don't know. But we do know that our lipsticks have the highest sales because they're usually on sale. There's usually a promotion around lipsticks, but we're not sure which product has the lowest sales. No. Our lipstick has the highest. We're not sure which one has the lowest. Okay. Can we just go ahead? I'm sure Joanne will catch up.
Okay.
Please go ahead. Please go ahead.
Okay. So since you do not know where, you do not capture all of these metrics from highest sales or lowest sales, what traffic do you capture traffic as well, like use website traffic?
What do
Maybe
you mean by
bounce rate,
traffic?
like bounce rates, like when a user comes to your website, do they just go on there and go and opt out,
We
or do
don't
they
know. We
complete the
just have
sale?
a website. We don't know any of these things. Are we supposed to be checking them?
Yeah, you should capture them. You should have like you should even have a user list, like a user base. You have like web emails of your users.
We have emails. We like that one. So when people come on the website, there is a pop-up that comes up to collect their name and their email address, and then they
Okay.
get a code for the lipstick. So that's why we think our lipstick is very fast. People buy it a lot because they get a code, and that code enables them to get a discount off their lipstick sales purchase.
All right, that's great. But with that, do you have like a follow-up for other products? If like
No.
you don't have like a recommendation to other products, like I
No,
give them.
we don't. We don't.
Okay. Okay.
No.
So you collect emails, you don't do newsletters.
No, we don't do newsletters.
There's no marketing then.
Well, we have Instagram, and on Instagram, we do some marketing. We do some promotions on Instagram. We have a lot of some influencers that have shown our products, but that's all we do.
Okay. Okay. So I'll just go back to conversion.
Okay.
For the emails that you have so far, do you notice any retention, like maybe the same customer coming back to buy lipsticks all the time, or is it just a one-off thing after they get the code for a discount, they do not come back?
We're not tracking any of those things. I have to be honest with you. So we don't know. We don't know. I have no idea.
Okay. Okay. So your in-house customer support, or are there any in-house customer support? I know you have Instagram, so they might have like DMs on Instagram where you follow up with customers.
Yes, but we tell them not to send us DM. We tell them to call.
To call, only calls.
Or to email the office. So we do have DMs, but we don't look at it because we've told them not to send it. So
okay.
Are we supposed to be looking at that?
You should be looking at that. So for customer support, your website does not have an online customer support, so at least Instagram should be helpful. As you do not do DMs. What's the timeline to responding to emails when customers send emails?
Within 48 hours, we say, which we try to 70% of the time, we try to do that time to stay within those 48 hours. It's very rare that we go, but let's say about 70 to 80% of the time we do send a response within 48
Within
hours.
48 hours. Okay, what has been the most common complaint that users have?
I mean, they complain that the payment is too long. It takes them a long time, and so they want to purchase on the phone instead, or on send us an email with a shopping cart and tell us, can we help them check out? We also have a problem with them saying that they're finding it difficult to find our products, but we have a search button. So I don't know why they're not using the search button, but if they use it, they can find the products easily. Another problem that they have, based on I'm trying to think now. So
Okay.
yes, they do complain that it's difficult to check out. They do complain that they would rather send us the shopping cart to shop online. They also complain sometimes that when they're adding to cart, sometimes the cart would take out their I've never experienced it.
Okay.
But it's like it would take out their order and then they have to start all over again. So
Oh,
those are the kind of complaints
okay.
that they have.
Oh, so in the midst of purchasing, they lose an item within the cart. They have to go
Yes,
back
the
again.
cart just
Okay.
I don't know, is it a glitch? I don't know, but they
Yeah,
just say that they have
that's
to.
like a technical glitch, I
Right.
guess.
Okay.
So how many products do you have on your platform in total? Do you have a number in
I
total?
don't have a number. There's a lot because we have different organizations that put their shop. We have different brands. So there's MAC, there's L'Oreal, there's other smaller companies. We are like a hub for
For that,
brands.
okay.
Yeah, so we're like a retail. So I'm not sure how many products we have.
So your product listing then, does these brands do it themselves, correct? Or you have someone that does it for them?
We have someone who uploads their lists for them.
That list for them.
Mm.
So I'm trying to understand the bandwidth to which your website can carry for
Don't
a
know.
customer to lose items within their cart. I think probably the website is not robust enough to have so many traffic.
Mm.
That's what I'm thinking about. Okay.
Okay, so let me give you guys a quick tip. I love the way this session is going, but try not to give your sponsor the solution in the meeting.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Otherwise, when you then bring out your high-level requirements, there's nothing exciting anymore because we sort of talked about it in the workshop.
All right.
Yeah, but fantastic illustration session. Well done, Oluwaseun. Very good. Are you sure you've not been doing this? I think you have.
Me?
It's too good.
I went to read while we were on break.
What?
I quickly went to read some things on Google while we were
Oh,
on
you
break.
did.
So
That's fantastic. Well done for that. Okay, so let's go on.
so we I've had some questions on payments now. Does the website take so for a user that wants to purchase something and get to payment stage, do you take payments by transfer or by card details, or how does payment work?
We like to use PayPal, and we like to use direct transfer because we ship from all over the world, and sometimes we have found in the past that people use fraudulent cards, so we cannot guarantee that we are going to get our money. So we only use PayPal, and then people can do a direct transfer to the organization, and then they have to call us to tell us that they've done the transfer, and then we would then manually activate the card to go.
Oh, so let me backstep a little. So when a customer pays via PayPal or bank transfer, they then have to call in to.
So PayPal is direct.
It's direct, okay.
Yes, PayPal is direct. But when they do a bank transfer, they need to call to let us know, or send us an email to let us know that they have made the payment.
Okay.
Yes.
And what's the timeline for response when the customer makes payment?
We have a direct line. It's a 24-hour line. Yes, so that one is very quick, except there's another caller, then they have to hold on till that caller is finished.
Okay. All right. That's great. Earlier you mentioned that there's like a discount program for lipstick, which is why it's making the highest sales. So what other products have maybe loyalty programs or discounts attached to them?
None, because lipsticks are our products with the highest margin. We make a lot of profit on lipsticks. The others, we don't make a lot of profit, so we didn't put in any loyalty programs. We only put for lipstick because, you know, we can our margins, we can chop some of it up and it doesn't affect the bottom line.
Okay, and would you be open to having loyalty programs? That's the wrong question. Okay. So I'll basically like put that into
Recommendation. Yes. So that goes
okay.
into your high level requirement. Yes.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
We'll create the list now, the high level requirement list. So you guys can. Okay.
Okay, next question. Must users sign up before they can
Yes, because that is how we authenticate their identity. They have to sign up with a valid email. They have to fill all the questions with their details and all of that. Otherwise, then we don't know that they are real customers and we may not get our money back.
Okay. So if they must sign up, then how seamless is the sign-up process, or how long is the form they have to fill? What's the timeline within that sign-up process?
I can show you the form, but it should not take you more than 2 minutes, 3 minutes to complete it.
Okay. Okay, 2 minutes is fine. That's okay. Now, I'll ask my question back to the lipsticks again.
Okay.
Do you see that, since that's a selling product, do you see that do customers buy in bulk or in low quantities, like in 2s, in 5s, or they buy in bulk, like in 50s, in 100s?
They're not bulk buyers.
They're not
We
bulk
don't have
buyers.
so it's
Bulk buyers.
1 lipstick, 2 lipsticks, 3 lipsticks, not a lot of.
Okay, so how then do you deliver, like shipping methods? Do you do international shipping, or do you
We do international shipping. So when they have purchased, the system will automatically take them to, with calculating the weight and everything, will take them to there's an integration there for different international shippers. They're also local shippers, and people can choose their shipper because the prices of their products are there, and the shipping costs are there, and so they can choose whichever shipping costs that works best for them.
And is that cost inclusive in their total payment in cart, or it's dependent on the delivery
It
service
will
they
be
choose?
included in their total payment. The way the system calculates it is it calculates the cost of the product and then it calculates the cost of the shipping.
Okay. All right. Okay, so I know that you mentioned, we talked about payment process already, so I would just maybe ask for, you could just give me like a rundown process off the top of your head, what it looks like. Imagine that I'm a user on your website and
Okay.
I've purchased something and I want to pay on PayPal, or how is it like? So I put my details in PayPal, then what's next after that?
Yes. So when if you, for example, maybe you want to buy something for your wife because we only have female products, and I assume that you're not going to use lipsticks. So once you buy the different things that you want to buy, it would show you your cart, just like the way Amazon is. Your cart is the right side. It will be showing you the different products in your cart, and you can then go and proceed to checkout. Once you have proceeded to checkout, it will ask you for some details there. So things like to reconfirm your name and email address. Once you reconfirm the name and the email address, then that's to show that you are already a user, because you are only those that have registered can buy on our website, because it's important that we know that the right person is buying the product. Then once you reconfirm your email and your password, it then takes you to a page where you view your shopping cart. Once you have viewed that shopping cart and you click OK, it then takes you to shipping. It will ask you to add your shipping address. Once they add the shipping address, then it would then take them to the page for the shippers. And on those pages, they can, based on their shipping address, they can then see which one they want. Different costs will be there. Once they choose one, it would show on the right side of the website to show this is the cost of your shipping and this is the cost of your order. It will show the total. If they are ready to say okay, once they click okay that they want to buy, it takes them to another form where they have to put in and reconfirm their payment details. Now, they only have to do this once, maybe the first time that they are shipping, and they can also set up their payment account details at the beginning before they even shop. Once they register on the websites, they can do that as well. But many people don't do that. They want to do it when they're shopping. I don't know why. So they would need to fill in their name, their email, their house number, their address, their location, their phone number, an alternate phone number. They would need to let us know if it is a gift. They would need to let us know if we should remove the tags from it. It would also, of course, ask for the country, the location, the card details, the short code number, the long number, the short number, the CVC code. It will ask for all of. No, we don't do card. For PayPal, we would. So that's why we don't do card.
Email, okay.
I've gotten confused.
No worries.
When you are on the other side of the table, I'm usually on your side of the table.
You're
So
doing a good job.
They put in what?
You're doing a good job.
Yes, okay, thank you. So they put in all those details, and then it asks them to put in their PayPal account. Once they put in their PayPal account, it will automatically verify if that is a PayPal account and if it has money. And then they can proceed and click OK, and that's it.
Okay, and they get the system notification for
Yes,
that
they get the
payment.
system notification that shows your purchase has been successful, your order is on the way. And what then happens is that the shipping company gets an email to say that they have an order waiting to be picked up, and they get the email and phone number of the person. They then send an email or call the shopper. So
Okay.
that process, we don't handle that process.
Okay. That's good. Thank you for that. So I'll skip the next two questions. You already talked about that. So you only take bank transfer and PayPal,
Yes.
no cards.
No.
Okay. And you mentioned earlier that the SLA between purchase and
Yes, they smooth process.
Okay. So right now, do you have a target market?
So from the ages of 12 to 65 is our target market.
But there's no metric to capture which age range makes the most purchases from your website.
No.
Okay.
No.
Okay.
They do fill their name, their date of birth when they are registering, but we are not checking.
I'm checking. Okay. So I'll ask some questions around what the website looks like.
Okay.
As user experience, basically. How do you have your items listed on the website? Do you have everything just listed as, since they are all makeup or cosmetics products, you have lipstick and powders, all of that all together, or do you have them categorized separate? What's it like?
So each seller has their section.
When you say seller, what do you mean?
So somebody like L'Oreal has their section, somebody like MAC has their section, so all the products that they sell are in those sections. So the website, when you type so you go brand in and you would see the brand names on top of the website, on the banner, and you click the brand name that you want, and you then shop. based on what you want. If it is a lipstick, you do get that code would work. If it is not a lipstick, it will not work. That's the code that they get when they sign up.
Okay, so that code works across all brands.
Yes, across all brands.
Okay, great. Great. So once I go onto the website, I pick the brand I want. If it's what you call it now? So I want what the makeup brands? I don't know.
Mark.
Okay, Mark, for example.
That's why I said you will not buy makeup.
So if I click on Mark, for example, and it takes me to where their products are, do they just have all the products listed on Mark's section, or are they categorized separately according to what they are? Lipstick, powders, all of that, or it's just all together in one dump?
They're all together. So you have to check for what you want.
So as a user, I have to scroll through and search and search and search.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. And on your website,
you put products are lumped together.
So as a customer, do you have like a feedback mechanism, or like where they make purchase? Do you have like a form where users are able to put in their experience using the website, or give like a score, like a star? You know, you have stars when you take Uber, 5-star, 3-star.
We have that. They can give us a thumbs up or things like that.
Okay.
Yes, and that's why we know that the customers are not happy, because we have a lot of thumb down.
No surprises.
You can't tell that to a product also. You cannot tell.
Thank you. I know, right? Guys, is everybody following? I hope you guys are following and are enjoying this as much as we seem to be enjoying it. Okay, so we did. No surprises. Okay, what's the next one?
So we have lipstick as the highest sales. I'm not sure you capture the lowest sales, so we just have to skip that and know what it. Do you collect data at all? Do you have like a database?
No, I think they collect people's names.
Only emails and
names and emails.
Just names and emails. No other
But
metrics.
it's not a functional database where we don't do newsletters. We just keep it because the companies who sell want to know, the people they like to have that information. So we send it to them periodically.
You only send it to the companies that okay.
Yes.
Oh, fantastic.
Just for those in the house, what issue potentially is there with that type of data? Just sending people's data like that.
GDPR, ISO.
GDPR, exactly.
Yeah.
Okay.
These questions are okay. Customer support is only via phone calls for now and emails. Or are you open to maybe having 2 people in-house customer support, or an online, like a chat box? Solution.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, I'll keep that in mind.
It's very difficult not to, but if you do that, like I said, they would already go and begin to consider that. And if you're a contractor, for example, why do they need you when you're giving them the solution?
Correct.
So you need to manage that.
Thank you. This is the second time I'm doing that. All right. So across the complaints that you have for thumbs down, what's
let me clarify. So it's not like you can't propose, how do I say it? You have to manage it very carefully. If it's not in the questions, I would say don't ask it, because it can also derail you. Because sometimes when you propose a solution, the sponsor can ask, so how will that work? Can you explain that a bit more to me? And that's not for this meeting, and that can just derail the entire meeting. And bringing it back then becomes difficult.
Okay, just to keep everything in scope.
Yes, just keep it. Scope has to do with the work, so keep it on. Scope has to do with the work in total that you're going to be doing on the website. That's the scope of the project. But you need to keep it in line with the questions that you are asking, because you're eliciting the requirements. Your requirements are, what does the sponsor need, right? What do they feel the problem is, and what can solve the problem? That's the requirements. So you then need to then break down that requirement to say, how are the users seeing this, and what can we put in place on the website to ensure that it works better? So that's what we're going to do with all these answers that we've provided. Okay.
All right. Sorry, 1 second. I'm trying to write down something.
Oh, okay. So this one about locations, because it's global, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So we get most of our products from our customers from the UK, because that is where our company is, and we have a few people from Spain and Italy. So in Europe and the UK are where we get our most customers. Yeah. I'm looking at this next question and we don't have the answer.
Exactly.
There's no need to.
Let me just see if I can get one more question from that location. So for customers, you have them across Europe and UK,
Yes.
majorly. Are the brands you have also, are they only Europe and UK? Are they global brands? Well-known brands?
A lot of these brands they are global, so they have representation across different countries. Yes, so they are global brands. We have a few people that are not global. Those are new, and they have just very few products, very few. Sometimes it's just things like a face wash or wipes, a lipstick, eyeshadow. So very few brands that are not global. There are individuals, small companies, that we encourage them. So we feature them on our website. We have feature new company of the week, and we feature them for maybe like 2 weeks, and that helps their sales.
Okay. So to the feedback you mentioned earlier about thumbs down, a lot of thumbs down, what's the major complaint you get from customers or from users based on feedback?
The highest, can you take that again? The highest complaints.
Or most specific, most recurring complaint that keeps coming up,
I shared that earlier, where I said that they complain that the cart is, the filling it is too long.
Yeah, it comes up.
Yes.
Products come out.
Yes.
That is one complaint. So does it reoccur? That's like most recurring complaint.
Those are three. There were 3 or 4 things that I talked about that people complain of all the time.
Okay.
Yeah, this is it.
Yeah. Difficult to find products on the website.
Okay. Oh, we have the question twice. Oh, all right.
Yeah, I think.
Yes.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Apology.
So one more question before you go, product sponsor. Based on, you said you do not do newsletters, but to drive traffic to your website, do you do any adverts?
We only do on Instagram, and then influencers. Those are the only 2 that we do right now.
Okay.
You've captured that before, actually.
Yeah.
Because we didn't have time to analyze the questions. Because normally you sort your questions and all that, but we didn't have that time to do it. So that's why it was repetitions.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, so that's it.
That's
fantastic. Well done. Yeah, so with that question, that should have answered that. Scroll down, please, Joanne.
Okay.
Great question, Anu, but she did ask that there was that question that was in there that we didn't quite get to. Maybe we didn't write it.
I'm not
Which
sure
one?
we didn't capture it. It was in chat box, I think. We didn't
Oh,
capture
okay. I
it.
probably missed it.
Yeah, the that's what users complain the most. Is it from laptops or
All right. Yeah.
telephones? Yes, because I mean
Okay.
that's important because then you know
Yeah.
whether it's optimized for a specific user type. Yeah, so that's a good question.
I think it's
For the answer.
it's responsive question.
What did you
It's
say?
responsiveness.
Responsiveness. Yes, that's the
I think she wrote it. She wrote it. I saw it as part of the question with Joanne typed. Yes,
Oh, yeah.
responsive.
How responsive is the website? So I think that could also,
okay.
we could also answer that question here in terms of
But that responsiveness could also be in terms of
how fast does
navigation.
it load, the
Yes.
load speed.
Yeah. So I think that can also be in terms of yes.
I think this is more of an optimization question in terms.
Which
So
one? This responsiveness.
no,
Now,
no,
these things that you guys have mentioned, and that's why I like to use Excel for this, right? Do you know why I like to use Excel? If you scroll up right now with Word, you cannot freeze your columns.
right.
But with Excel, you can, because as we're talking right now, what you are doing is already analyzing your requirements. You've talked about optimization just now. We've talked about responsiveness. We've talked about compatibility. We've talked about yeah, those things. Those are all non-functional requirements. So if we had it on Excel, you would have just got in there and you just be plotting it into the columns for those things. That's why I like to use Excel for this particular exercise, just because of the how I can use it.
Okay, I can stop sharing my screen, go off, put this on Excel and come back on. That's okay.
Okay,
Then
that's
you
fine.
can show
That's
us
fine.
how to
Let's
do
do
that.
that. Yes, then I
Okay.
can go ahead. I can continue with the session.
Okay.
Yeah, fantastic. So once you're ready and it's on Excel, just let us know, please.
Okay.
Fantastic. Well done, guys, for putting it all together. That was a beautiful session. I enjoyed it immensely. Like I said, this is my first time being on this this side of the table. I'm usually on the asking side. So thank you guys for clapping for me, because you guys said I did well. So thank you for that. Yeah, so those are, so what we've done right now is we've done the, so you can see that everything sort of works together, right? You're not asking the questions and you're thinking, okay, let me go and ask another question for functional requirements, another one for non-functional. Everything is working at the same time. Based on the things the sponsor was even saying, you can already begin to say to yourself, what are the priorities? So obviously, checkout is a priority, right? Because they want money. Obviously, so those are the things you already begin to prioritize based on what the sponsor is saying. You're already also getting the functional requirements, non-functional requirements based on the answers to the questions and even the type of questions. So one way to have also categorized the questions, and what you then do is offline, once we've finished the session, you go back and categorize and say, these questions based on the answers are functional requirements. Based on these answers, they are non-functional requirements. And you can have the questions show up in different parts. You say, this is a user requirement. This one has to do with UI, UX, all of those things just from your question. So that's how you sort of use it. Now, based on the things that he said, you can create an as is, right? So what the as is really would be for this case, and let's go to our Visio. So I'm going to pull up Visio at this time. Sorry guys, I'm trying. I want us to, I don't know if we can wrap up by 1 o'clock, but I would really like us to wrap up by 1 o'clock. I'm enjoying the session myself, but I think let us all take a break. Yeah, if we can't finish, then we can find, I don't know, but let's see. So this is Visio, and I like Visio because is it possible to take? Yes, you need to ask. Fantastic question, you need to ask your sponsors if it's okay to record the meeting. Some sponsors will tell you they don't want it to be recorded, especially when you have conflicting issues. Where one person is trying to be the boss and another person. So you might have those kind of things. So what I usually would advise, especially if it is an offline meeting, online meeting, just find a way to click record on your phone. When you're done, delete it. That's what I always advise. Even if it's in the office, it's more difficult when it's face to face, because how do you, if you go with a team member, then it might be easier to say, please just record the meeting. You guys would have agreed. They just put it on voice note and they just record the meeting. But if it is just you, then when you are tweaking anything on your phone, people are going to notice, you know. So at that time, your keyboard is flying, your hands are flying through the keyboard because you're typing. It can be very stressful, to be honest with you. But some stakeholders don't want you to record, and there's nothing you can do. Okay, so let's go to a blank drawing. Now, I'd like to, and this is a personal preference, okay? You don't have to. You can use your portrait, but typically I like to put it on landscape. Like I said, it's just a personal peeve, but you don't have to. You can use portrait. And what we need to do here, so because a lot of us are all new, just go to BPMN. Why? Because it's just easier than searching. So just go to your BPMN. You do more results. You can see right here, this is end event, this is start event, these are your gateways, these are intermediate, these are da. So based on what he said, is it going to have one swim pool or two swim lanes or one swim lane? Let me hear your answers. Based on the current website that they have. And the questions. Hello?
Okay.
I think it will be one swim lane.
I think it should be two. There's customer support as well.
Okay.
Yep.
Unless they make phone calls. So, and three swim lanes. There's delivery as well. So
yep. So 3 swim lanes. Absolutely. Why? Because of these things that you have mentioned. You have the customer swim lane that they're purchasing. Okay. Did you see how I took it, lifted it? Honestly, there are tons of this on YouTube, so don't even stress yourself with how to use it. But thinking about the swim lane, we do have the customer support swim lane. That's one. We do have the user swim lane. They that are purchasing, that's the second one. And then there's the delivery swim lane. Now, you should actually also have swim lanes for the different organizations, but that'll just be too much. So let's just leave it as those 3 swim lanes. Now, to add a swim lane, you simply come here. You can see the tiny blue arrow. Can you guys see that? Once you click it, it will automatically just add the new swim lane for you, and it will automatically make it into a pool, because it knows once it's more than one swim lane, it's automatically a pool, and so it will do that for you, and create that pool. So I'm trying to reduce that so it sits in this box. Okay, and then of course we need another one, right? So you include that, you put it in again, and that's 3. Now we'll need to stretch these out because they're too small, but you then need to put the functionalities in here. So normally what I like to do is to put the organization, which was Retail Beauty. I can't remember the name of our organization.
Beyond, I think it was Beyond.
Okay, Beyond Beauty Retail. Why do I like to do this? If you're not careful, so this would be, this is Beyond. Why I like to put it in the middle is because that is like your major, that is your connector.
Beyond.
What?
It's Beauty Beyond. So.
Hey, okay, not Beyond. Oh my goodness. Oh, we come up with fictitious companies. You forget. So thank you so much. So Beauty Beyond.
It's a really nice name. You could trademark it.
I agree. Yes, so those of you that are in this fashion industry, you want to think about it and pay me royalty. So this is the online shop. Or let's put it as customer support. Now, these guys are going to be, so this is the user. Yes, or shopper. And this is delivery. Actually, you also have the you should have the shop itself. Yeah, it should actually.
I don't understand. What do you mean by the shop itself?
I'm thinking maybe this is me in my head. Because so here should be, because you have the retail store, right? People work on the shop. Are you guys seeing my video?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. People shop on the retail store, right? So that process, you know what, leave it. Leave it. That's the thing with doing these things one-off, because sometimes you're thinking and thinking and thinking. I mean, an office would have sat down and brainstormed this, but here we can't really brainstorm it so much because we don't have that much time. So I'm just expanding it because I know that we would need to expand the process. Okay, I typically like to keep it within once it extends, BPMN 2.0 can just be very annoying. So your shopper, how do they start the process? They come on the website, isn't it?
Yeah.
So this is your event start. You put your event start right there. Okay, so you say, oh, shit. I will keep it very simple. Okay, like I said, you can go learn how to do this. It's not a big deal. So browse, right? That's the first thing that they do. They browse the website. From browsing the website, they maybe decide to choose a product. Yes. So this is your task. You can see the names are on there, right? So your event type is your start.
Okay.
Can we see that? When you right click on the event, it will tell you what type. So you can choose start non-interrupting. You can choose intermediate. You can choose intermediate non-interrupting. And all of these have, well, what I would do is, I'm wondering, it's online, to be honest. If you type BPMN 2.0, I'll share it, and you can go and check. It has all the details, how to use them, what they're for. It's on there. There's a process chart that you can use there, right? But this one is just a start non-interrupt, because it's a start event. Maybe non-interrupting because you start the event. So that's them on the website browsing. They then come in here and what, select item is what happens now, isn't it?
It should be brand first, right?
Yeah, select brand. So they okay. So what next should happen? This is big. Please go ahead, guys. What's the next thing? When you select the brand, what do they do here? They decide on what?
An item.
Select products.
They select the product. So I think, and when you think about it, right, they don't select the brand. They browse the brands. So they come on the website. That's the first thing. They browse the brands. Then they decide on a okay, so leave it. Let's select brand. When they select the brand, they need to come to a decision gateway here, right? Because are they going to go with this particular brand, or do they want another one? And actually, that's why I wanted to do select product, because when you choose, okay, but we're on the to be, we're on the as is. This how it is. This is how it is right now, not how it should be. Yeah, because on a normal case, on a normal day, what I would assume is you select the product and then it asks you what brand you want, right? You then have different brands that you can choose from, you know, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, but right now that's not how they're doing it. Right now they're looking at the website. So you select the brand. So here they come to a decision gateway. It is, do you want this brand? So again, when you right click, you see it shows you all the different gateways. Okay, so it is, do you want this brand or do you not want this brand? So this will be a parallel. This is an event actually. So it's not it's exclusive because it is, do I want, no, I don't want to use an event. Sorry guys, I don't want to use an event. Yeah, so we can leave it like that, but I want to use, no, it is an event in a way. Sorry guys, this is how I think about it. So I'm thinking about it the way I would do with you guys. So this is not this gateway. You use this particular gateway. It's called, it's parallel gateway. Two things can happen at the same time, but that's not what is happening here, right? This is exclusive. It is either I choose A or I choose B. You know, that's what we're looking at here, right? But I don't like these gateways. I'm not sure why. Is it an update? Okay, yeah, this is the one I want. Yeah, so it's either we're choosing select the brand. Do I want this brand? Is the question that we're gonna ask. And this is another place that this thing really annoys me, you know. I'm sorry guys. I just have some pet peeves with this, very annoying. This is too small. I made it too big. So let's put our task here, right? Because we would need to make a decision here. Are we going with this brand that we have chosen, or do we not want to go with that brand? Okay, so this will be yes. And this will be place order, right? If the answer is no, so whatever brand it is that they chose, yeah, so that would be a no because they don't want that brand. Maybe they've looked at it and they're not feeling the brand. Okay, so this will be no. And I mean, you can come in and color this, make it red, the arrow, just because you want it to be pretty, you know. Where are my colors? You know, and that she didn't change. Let's focus on this one. So if it is no, it would be no, and you put a question mark there. Because if he wants to choose another brand, then guess what? They're going to literally start again from the beginning and go back to what? Select brand, right? However, if it is no, if they don't want to select another brand, we would end the process there. Okay, because they don't want to select another brand. Okay, but this shouldn't be it should be browse. Okay, so it's either they're browsing for more, which leads them to select another brand, or they say no, and that process ends. Now, if they want to place the order, so what happens when they place the order? Guys, are you here?
I'm sorry, Mom, I have a question.
Go ahead.
Okay, so if, assuming they selected no, can the arrow go back to the initial browse website instead of another
So they don't want
another
to.
browse.
Can the arrow go to where? Say it again. That's from this no,
Can
go
the arrow
straight here.
like that carries the no go back?
Yeah,
Yes,
so the
to the
challenge
initial
is,
browse website.
so they may not want to browse the website again. They might just get irritated and bounce off.
Okay.
So yes, they can, from here, it can be that they want to go back to browse the web, or they just want to end the process. They're irritated and they just want to go. They're not interested anymore.
Okay.
So yeah, so thanks for saying that. Actually, this should be go back to browse website. Right, because they're going back to go and search for another website. So not select brand. Yeah, you're right. To browse website and then you decide to select the brand again. Is that what you mean?
Yes, ma'am.
Instead of select brand.
Yes.
Yeah, so it should be browse. It should be browse website actually. Now when they come here, when they place the order, what should happen is what it goes into payment, right? And that payment would need to, so it should be make payment. From here, where does it go?
You should either be paying, so either doing logging into connecting to your PayPal, or you're doing the.
Yeah, so what we'll then do here is that we'll put a sub process there. Okay, because payments is a big one, because we know that, right? This process actually it's not complete, because it doesn't start with them browsing the website. Well, yeah, it can. Then they would then be forced to register, right, and fill the form. So this is a sub process. What a sub process does, this is what make payments. And if you notice, they're all in verbs because it is a process. It is happening. So it has to be a verb. You can't put in noun and just make it. It has to show that it is something that is going on. So that's why it always has to be a verb. Okay, a verb is a doing word. So back to English class. Right, make payment. We're putting a sub process here because make payment is a huge, long process. And if you put it in here, it's going to be too long. So we would create another sub process like this that shows just payment. Is what we are going to do. Well, I'm not sure we'll do it today. You know. However, once they've made payment, well, before they even place an order, it will ask them to register, right? So we have skipped that process here. Do you remember from what the sponsor was saying? Before they place an order, it will allow them to fill that form. You know, and so that form is another long one again that they need to do before they can even make payment, right? So, but I've skipped that step just so that we can keep this as short as possible. So from making the payments, they need to, it comes down into the customer support, right? And that's where this process starts. So customer support can have several processes. If there's a problem, this person actually, instead of no, they can come here and move it here and make a complaint. Yes? They can make a complaint here. So instead of saying no, sorry, so you guys get ready for this kind of thing. So when you're creating processes, you're constantly thinking that, does this make sense? Does this make sense? So instead of ending the process, we can decide to say, instead of so this no, this so what I'm trying to do here, right, guys, is to say you can say no and end the process. So that would be correct. Leave that. Yes. But they can also say, I don't want to end the process. I want to make a complaint. So that is another task that this person can do. I don't know if you make a complaint or lay a complaint, but let's leave it as make a complaint, right? So that's something that this person can do. And once they're making that complaint, where does it go? It goes down into the, so that's a message. All right, so this person's start event, I'm not going to put a start event there because that's a message flow. So you're going to send them, where is it? It's not a data object, it's a message. Okay, because there needs to be Okay, so you're sending a message to these guys to say, I'm not happy. All right, and that's really where their own process sort of starts from, because it is the beginning of their process is when they get this complaint from this person. Now, if you notice, right, it's white. This part is not showing green, this is showing green. So it will, if I go and click search process now or process, it will show it that it's incorrect. So it always has to touch. Can you see where it turns green? It always has to touch. That's how you know that you've done it correctly. If not, it's a problem. So this is what happens here. And then what happens is these guys might want to escalate it to, but we didn't put that swim lane. So they receive that process and their task will start. But do you guys understand the mindset behind process mapping?
Yeah.
Fantastic. Are we all here?
Yes,
Do you guys understand? What? Go ahead. What did you say, Joanne? Or somebody was saying?
No, I said yes. I just said yes.
Okay. Yeah, so their tasks then starts here, because they need to what? They need to answer this person. They need to contact this customer. So review or respond. So yeah. When they're finished reviewing, what do? They would again send that back to the customer, and the customer will receive a response here. Right, so that's how a process can go on and on and on. Guys, just forget my spellings right now. Yes, because I want us to move and analyze those questions, because that's very important. This is an as-is state. This is looking at what currently exists. So it's based on your as-is that you will then create a to-be. Okay, so they receive the response, and this would end this process here. Except they want to take it further. Maybe they weren't happy with it. That would end that process there. Okay, so once they receive it, you end the process. But if this person, yeah, so that's for this one. And then they start again. When they make a payment, for example, that payment needs to be validated by admin. Okay, because they can't validate the payment. So admin would get a message that says a payment has come in. Now, if they got it, you then put in a yes or no situation here as well. So did they receive the payment? Yes. If they receive the payment, then they would confirm that payment. An email will go to the shopper, and they would send the payment down to the next stage, which is delivery, based on, and then that's how the interaction with this delivery swim lane will start. And then that will start their process, right? And then they will then contact the company, what do you call them? This person, based on what this person said. Okay, go back. If the answer is no, they would go back and send an email, a message back to the customer, because the order will be cancelled, and then they will need to place the order again. Right, so that swim lane would go back if it's a no. If it's a yes, it would come down here to say yes. That process starts, and then they have to contact the customer. So that's how it sort of keeps going till we eventually arrive at that space where we're like, oh, great. Sorry, I just noticed my heater was on. I'm like, why is the heater? This place is hot. Sorry, guys. Let me turn it off. I would say if you want to do this, buy Visio. Just buy Visio so that you can keep practicing. But there are free tools online, so you don't have to. There's not just Visio. Like I said, there's this Adonis, which I'm just learning. It's free right now. There's Lucy Chat, you have to pay. There's Draw.io. You don't need to pay for Draw.io. There is I can't even think about them now, but there's several tools that you can use for this process chatting. All right. But a lot of people are asking for BPN 2.0. So you have to ensure that it's BPMN, business process modeling notation. Okay, it has to be 2.0 because that is the industry standard right now for business analysts. So that's how this process keeps going till you end it. Okay, so that process needs to end. This one cannot end here. This is the person that will end it. So let's go and check this document. All right, I'm sure there are some errors on this document. So you check the diagram. It says it's fine. It says there are no validation issues. Didn't I bring in? So import rules from EPMN flowchart. You check the document. I'm sure there will be a half. So there are problems with this document because they didn't finish. Can you see that? The first one it is asking is this one, and it is saying unless there's when start and end events are used, a task or follow-up must have incoming sequence. So it's not seeing the incoming or the outgoing. So we would need to sit down and look at and resolve all of this one by one. And that's the tough part sometimes with business process modeling, which is why sometimes before I go take it on Visio, I look at it first of all and think and think and think, then take it on Visio. Okay. And that's how you really resolve this
I
one
have a
message.
question.
Go ahead.
I was just thinking, you know, with how everything is very AI reliant, so to
Right
speak,
now.
these days, are there AI tools that business analysts use, or is there a way to even to connect to any AI tool?
I mean, there's some that are more responsive, like this Adonis, for example. What it does is it's almost like it thinks for you. So it says, oh, this thing is not correct, and it will prompt you and say this is incorrect. When based on how you also define the parameters, so it will look at it and can be slightly predictive from what I've seen about Adonis. But typically, I don't know of any AI tools. I mean, you can put this on any of those tools and say, I want to draw a process for this. Chat GTP, for example, and it will tell you how the process should flow. Okay. It does that. But plotting it, you still have to come and do the plotting. Right. So guys, if you notice, because it is the same swim pool, so it is telling me that I should not use the, I only use it between swim lanes, between different swim pools. So that's what it's flagging off for this one. So because it's the same pool, it says the messaging doesn't have to. That's why I don't like to do this when I'm still working. Yeah. So if I search now, you would see it would clear out. So it's clearing out some of those messages already because so you see they're not as many as they were because of just clearing it. Once you look at it and click it and you're like, oh, I need to, so it's saying that I shouldn't use this one. So I go to the event and put a start. So does that work? You clear it, it has cleared it off. So that's how you do, right? So it's not tough to correct it. It's just that sometimes it can be very tiring, especially when you are in a hurry to do that. So that's really business process notation and how to use it to create your process flows. Okay, once you have done this needs to go to the sponsor to say, is this how you currently have? And that is, again, another workshop. So you would have another meeting with the sponsors and a few people and say, this is what we currently see you have. Before we go into the improvement stage, please confirm that this works. And then they'll look at it, you take them through that process like they took you through. And then they'll be like, oh, yes, it works. Oh, great. And then they move on from there, and that's how this works. Now, I will just show you guys this very quickly. I thought by now we'll be done. I'll show you guys this very quickly. So for a sub process, for example, so this will be, you need to name them as well. You don't have page 1 and page 2. You name your processes. Okay, so this will be the main flow. When you click, I just want to show you guys how to put in a sub process. So this will be payments. Okay, so for payments is there, because it's a sub process, you would need to put in the expanded sub process sheet because you are expanding the sub process. It's an intermediate event, so you started with an intermediate event to show that it came in from that. And so payment, you then start the payment to say receive. When you go to payment, make payment, it will then be, are you an existing customer? Or so that will be here. It will ask you that question because it needs to know, right? Are you an existing customer or not? you're not an existing customer, guess what? You're going to go and fill a form. But if you are an existing customer, then it would move you to going straight to make those payments. Okay, so this is for an existing customer. So these are C payment options. If it is not an existing customer, we already know the wahala, right? They're going to go and fill form. So they will be given the form to fill if they are not an existing customer. Now, the customer has to make a decision here. Sorry, I'm not doing this very well, guys, because it shouldn't. I know I can see I'm not doing it very well. Just the way I'm placing my tasks and code, but I'm trying to get this. So the customer has to decide, right, whether or not they want to fill the form. If they don't want to fill the form, that would end the process. And that's where we are seeing the bounce rate. So that's where you need to then show, that's why this is important. Because they will now see that because of this form, many of your customers don't want to fill form. So there's a bounce, that's where you're getting, why is this thing being annoying? Yeah, so no, the customer goes. Yes, the customer fills the form. Once they click submit, it then takes them to continue with their payments, right? So it opens up the payments section for them and all that. And what I want to show you with this is how to connect both forms. All right, because when you are presenting, you're not going to be going back. That's an incomplete document. So sorry about that, guys, but I just want to quickly move this. Now, for here that we said make payment, you right click. When you right click on it, can you see hyperlink? So you come back and you click the hyperlink button. You can come here and do it from up here. See, link to existing, but I just like doing the right key. Link to existing main flow. You're linking it to where the main flow. So it has created that hyperlink for you, right? But when you come to your payment, you need to link it back. So whenever you end the event, this one will take you to exit the website. This one here to fill form, I know this is incorrect, but let me just do it here. It takes you to where you then need to. That's why I like this one. It takes you back to the main flow. Okay, so now let's go and work like we're presenting this, because you present this. So you go to main flow. Yes, okay, sorry. View, presentation mode. Once you go into presentation mode, when I talk, I come here, I click it. Yeah, because that's why I don't like using this for this one. Because it doesn't work as well. But you go to the next page. When you come here, but look at this one. Can you see when you click it, immediately it goes? But this one is always very annoying. Can you see? Because of the way I right clicked, it did. So that's what you do when you're presenting the process for you. Said when you get to make payment, let's show you what happens right now. You go to make payment, they come in here, they make the payment, but it doesn't allow them. Once the payment dialog is open, it requests whether they are an existing customer or not. If they're existing, they fill the form. If they're not existing, so what this would be typically is make a payment. It should be make a payment to be enter in your username for validation. Once they enter their username, if it is an existing customer, they can go ahead and make the payment and see the options. If they are not an existing customer, they would be redirected to fill the form. So that's what would happen with this process. All right, so that's process mapping. So again, I don't like this one, so I'm going to come back here and delink it. I don't like using that one. It's very annoying. So I will edit the hyperlink. But just that this right click can be funny. Let's come and remove it. You know what? Let's leave this. If not, I'll be here all day. So let's stop. So that's your process flow. So now let's go back and do let's do a use case. Okay, so this is a use case diagram. For use cases, I would say a use case is a big picture event. So what a use case does for you, let me show you guys that on the presentation. What a use case, so I'm really rushing. I don't know about you guys. I wanted to do just 2 hours this morning. But you guys, okay, should we stop and then come back? What do you guys think?
We can stop and come back.
Yeah, so let's take maybe 1 hour so we can go and have lunch. Yes, then we can come back and wrap up. But let me just show you guys this before we come back. Because Joanne, please send me if you please drop the questions in the chat box so I can pick it up from there.
Sure.
Let me just show you guys this very quickly. So that's the group work. Where we are going right now is with the questions, we then need to refine, test, and deploy. So from those questions, we're going to break them up into different requirement levels, which is here, the part 2 of the analysis, to get our high-level requirements, functional requirements, non-functional requirements, and all of those things. Hello, sorry guys. Hello. Sorry, all these calls today. Sorry, guys, all these calls today. Yeah, so that's what I need us to do. So this is where we then go. When you finish breaking it up like that, you go to your epics. Your epics are like your big picture. You're looking at the business requirements in your epics, okay? That's where we go. We then break them up into features. We then take us into our users. What do our users need to interact with on the website? Then we go into our stories. I'm not sure we can, maybe when we come back. But this is what I wanted us to do right now, which is a use case diagram. A use case diagram gives you a high level positioning on the interaction between the components of the website. So the actors of the website and the component. So your component, for example, would be a database. So that's a component. So we need to show the database. We also need the user who initiates the process. And then of course the customer services representative who is a junior or a lower actor. We have big actors and small actors. So that's what I want to show with this. And what the customer needs to do is it's high level, so it's not going to be details. And those we would get from our when we analyze our requirements. So this is what we need to do. Things like browse the website, select this, pay for shop for makeup. That's what we need, and then select a delivery option. So that's what we're going to do when we come back. But we need to sort of break up the requirements first, which is why I said, let's get it. Let me do some work on it before you guys come in, and then we can sort of take that going. Yes? All right. So we'll see you guys. We'll be back by, this is 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock. Let's do 2 o'clock. Let's be back by 2. We should work maybe between an hour, 30 minutes to 1 hour, and then we'll wrap up and then we can call it a day. Yes? All right, guys. See you later.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah.